We welcome you inside Hammerstein Ballroom, and it is time for the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament to commence.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Tala, Jalisco, Mexico, weighing in at 165 pounds.
Well, Dragon Lee has taken NXT by storm for the last year, and a lot of the audience got exposed to Dragon Lee this past Wednesday on Velocity, going one-on-one with fellow NXT representation in Noam Dar. Noam Dar will have the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne in just a few weeks in the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic, but tonight it is Dragon Lee kicking things off. And how apropos that he goes one-on-one with the Latino World Order's Cruz del Toro, as you are looking at a man that has been dubbed the future of Lucha Libre by one of the greatest to ever do it, Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio competed in last year's Cruiserweight Classic tournament. He was unsuccessful. Maybe Dragon Lee is going to have a different result. Cruz del Toro predominantly in tag team action over on Friday Night SmackDown, but don't discount a man who broke out in the WWE in the midst of the Cruiserweight Classic tournament back in 2016. This should be one hell of a matchup to kick things off. Two Lucha Libre stars open up the first round live from Manhattan, New York.
And his opponent, representing the LWO from Cordova, Veracruz, Mexico, weighing in at 190 pounds.
Cruz del Toro walking down the aisle here in Midtown as, of course, the Latino World Order approaches a WWE Tag Team title matchup live this coming Thursday at the season premiere of SmackDown. Rey Mysterio and a partner of his choosing, could be Cruz del Toro or might even be Joaquin Wilde, will take on Angel Umberto for the tag team titles. All remains to be seen what's going to happen Thursday night in just a short trip over in Brooklyn. But this Sunday afternoon, we are here in Midtown Manhattan, and it is time for the opening matchup in the first round of the 2024 edition of the illustrious Cruiserweight Classic Tournament. Bell has sounded we are underway. Cruz del Toro and Dragon Lee open up this year's tournament. So much riding on the line over the next 8 weeks. Of course, the big strong boy, Tyler Bate, participating in this tournament, has promised to defend his championship through each and any round he participates in, really opening up an opportunity to anybody who is lucky enough to stand across the ring from the champion. As for Cruz del Toro, hot out of the gate against Dragon Lee thus far in this matchup. Del Toro looking for a singles breakout performance. Out of the ring goes Dragon Lee, and Del Toro going skyward here in Midtown. Well, just because Del Toro is predominantly a tag team star on Friday Night SmackDown with Joaquin Wilde does not mean you should be discounting his efforts. An extraordinary talent who, as we mentioned, is looking for his breakout performance here in the CWC. Off the springboard, nice kick, taking Dragon Lee off his feet once more. Dragon Lee has got no answer for Del Toro in the early moments. Joaquin Wilde, of course, will also be competing in the CWC. On the other side of the bracket, he approaches a matchup with TNA Wrestling's Frankie Kazarian in just a few weeks' time. As for Dragon Lee, as we mentioned, somebody who has taken NXT by storm during the last 12 months or so. Former North American champion, exposed himself to an even broader audience this past Wednesday on Velocity with a explosive matchup against Noam Dar, and of course a victory for Dragon Lee on that night. Some last-minute momentum as Dragon Lee approached this contest with Cruz del Toro this Sunday afternoon. Those shooting star presses benefiting both superstars thus far. All remains to be seen who is going to benefit as we get in the later rounds of this first round matchup. Both these superstars, of course, love to take things to the air, but that is to be expected. And when wanting to advance in this style tournament, it's really going to be what else you can bring to the table. Dragon Lee and Cruz del Toro expecting each other to leave the soles of their boots, but what do they have in their arsenal to throw the opposer off their game? All remains to be seen is Dragon Lee looking to stack the offense this time. Cruz del Toro off a reversal and taking out one of Dragon Lee's knees. If the man can't walk, he certainly ain't going to be flying from coast to coast. Del Toro wiping out the masked superstar. Dragon Lee, a man who has traveled this globe, won championships all around it. Now looking for his opportunity in the Cruiserweight Classic, but Cruz del Toro just may be his kryptonite. We saw what this tournament has done in the past for its winners. Just 12 months ago, it was the Mad Dragon Ilya Dragunov who capped off the 2023 Cruiserweight Classic as the victor. Ilya Dragunov has become one of the top stars on Friday Night SmackDown because of it. That is what these 16 superstars are looking to achieve over the next 8 weeks. Del Toro off the head scissors takedown. Dragon Lee is on spaghetti legs. Corkscrew, what an arm drag by Del Toro. Cruz has been in this tournament before, participated in the inaugural one back in the summer of 2016, and is looking for an even greater performance several years later. Dragon Lee having a problem catching Del Toro as he is flying all around this ring. And pop-up tornado DDT. That could be all she wrote, not just yet. I'll tell you what, Cruz del Toro looking to turn some naysayers into believers on this Sunday afternoon in the opening round of the CWC. Who's to say Del Toro can't have a singles performance that wows the WWE Universe? But neither Dragon Lee is not looking to be a stepping stone for Del Toro. Awesome Spanish fly and follows it up with a suplex. You saw Dragon Lee there, just saw an opportunity and he took it. Anything to get back in this matchup, even if it means putting his own body in harm's way. As we saw last year in the CWC, putting your body in the line of fire is sometimes what you got to do. Dragon Lee willing to leave no stone unturned en route to a hopeful victory tonight. Other sidestep by Cruz del Toro. Del Toro has clearly done his homework on one of NXT's standout superstars in Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee, along with Noam Dar, Javon Evans, some of the NXT participation in the Cruiserweight Classic this year. And hell, he might have came up short, but you look at a guy like Nathan Frazier, who'll be participating later this afternoon, also was representing NXT last year in the Cruiserweight Classic. Such a great performance, he inevitably signed with SmackDown. Dragon Lee in the corner. Operation Dragon seems to be on the mind. Into the cover. Del Toro still alive. Dragon Lee thought he had it. And then there's a loud ring throughout the Hammerstein Ballroom as these lovely fans are enjoying this Cruiserweight action. Dragon Lee realized that he was really falling short on the scoreboard, if you will. A sense of urgency, went for the kill, and obviously did some damage, but no 3 count was to be had just yet. But this is what Dragon Lee is going to benefit off that maneuver. He's got Del Toro literally up against the ropes. Maybe we spoke too soon. Dragon Lee gets his knee taken out from under him again. That's also the same knee that Del Toro chop blocked a few minutes ago. Hasn't been a primary objective for Cruz throughout this matchup, but maybe it should start being one. Trying to go low on Dragon Lee, may take him out. He may not need it. Just cradled him up. Smashed him on the canvas. Dragon Lee gets the shoulder up again. Cruz del Toro, no matter the result, is showing up and showing out on this Sunday afternoon, opening week edition of the CWC. Once again, Dragon Lee was tied up. Del Toro focused on the knee that time. And now he's got Lee heading to the outside. Cruz del Toro looked for a moment as if he was starting to slow down, but I think he's putting the pedal to the metal. Tilt-to-whirl corkscrew over the top. Cruz del Toro did not make the trip to Midtown Manhattan to be a stepping stone in Dragon Lee's legacy. Springboard, frog splash by Cruz. That's gotta do it. Dragon Lee is wiped out. Not just yet. A sense of urgency, but a kick out nonetheless. Man, you gotta give it up to Del Toro, emptying his hat of tricks tonight. But somehow Dragon Lee continues to survive, but you see fatigue really starting to set in, just collapsing off that collision with the turnbuckles. Nonetheless, Del Toro has got to do exactly what he seems to be doing, and that's keeping his foot on the gas pedal. Giving Dragon Lee any room for R&R may come back to bite the LWO's Cruz del Toro. He's not looking to allow it. We're heading to the top. Superplex, and it lands flush. Midtown Manhattan on their feet as now Del Toro scales the ropes once more. Wheels are a-spinning. Dragon Lee dead center of the ring, and his soul just got crushed. And still, Lee perseveres. Man, Dragon Lee, you might need a shovel to get him off the canvas, but somehow finding a way to continue to fight in this matchup. Trying to rev up the engines. Del Toro might have got caught. Gets the rug swept out from underneath of him. Another shooting star by Lee. Anything to try to get a pinfall. But Cruz del Toro gets the shoulder up, and I think Dragon Lee's got to realize that he has not dished out as much offense as Del Toro has. Dragon Lee relying on what works in this matchup. I believe that was his third or fourth shooting star, what we just saw moments ago. Dragon Lee just trying to stack the offense the best he can, but Cruz del Toro has got a will like no other tonight. Nice Frankensteiner takedown. Dragon Lee trying to play catch up here. Hooks the leg. Auto went for the bridge, but elects against it. Now it's Del Toro up against the ropes. Dragon Lee has got to fight. Oh man, what has he got in mind here? Meeting Cruz on the hardest part of the ring. Del Toro getting dropped on his crown. Dragon Lee's starting to feel it. Getting his mojo back by any means necessary. Del Toro getting sent for a loop and now sent back inside the ring. Dragon Lee has got an opportunity, but he's got to capitalize on a down LWO member. Not going for the pinfall just yet. Just trying to stack this offense as we previously mentioned. The masked superstar heading to the top. Another tilt-a-whirl head scissors takedown. Dragon Lee throwing in something pretty here and there, but is really relying on the effective maneuvers, the punches, the kicks, the strikes. Del Toro had it scouted that time. Oh, wait a minute, who's got the offense here? Cruz del Toro, Frankensteiner. Might have picked that up from Rey Mysterio. Dragon Lee into the cover. Lee caught him. Dragon Lee caught him. Dragon Lee advancing in the CWC.
Here is your winner,
Incredible performance by the LWO's Cruz del Toro. Looking for a Frankensteiner. Might have picked that up from Rey Mysterio and the West Coast Poppy instituted for years, but Dragon Lee able to reverse the pressure into a pinfall and ended up catching Cruz del Toro with his shoulders on the canvas. Dragon Lee, resilient as all hell in the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic as we see our first elimination and our first update to the bracket. We now look forward. Who will meet Dragon Lee in the next round? Will it be Frazier? Will it be Wentz? We find out in moments. Who will face Dragon Lee in the quarterfinals? We find out right here, right now.
The following contest is scheduled for weighing in at 207 pounds,
Zachary Wentz, a former TNA X Division champion as well as TNA Tag Team champion, and somebody who knows Wes Lee extremely well. Wentz, Lee, and one Trey Miguel, known as the Rascals for several years across the independent scene as well as in TNA wrestling. Well, Zachary Wentz, one of these several TNA representatives, along with Frankie Kazarian and Jonathan Gresham in the Cruiserweight Classic over the next several weeks. Wentz looking to start TNA out hot as he goes one-on-one with SmackDown's Nathan Frazier. And we briefly touched on it earlier tonight. Nathan Frazier last year was representing NXT in this tournament. Of course, came up short in the semifinals, but inevitably had such an amazing performance, went on to sign with Friday Night SmackDown. Nathan Frazier not looking to come up short this year, looking to represent the blue brand with flying colors, head all the way to the finals, and make his mark as the winner of the 2024 Cruiserweight Classic. But can he kick things off on the right foot against Zachary Wentz?
And his opponent from Jersey in the Channel Islands, weighing in at 182 pounds, Nathan Frazier.
Well, Nathan Frazier hot off the heels with a victory over Chad Gable just a few weeks ago on SmackDown in Montreal. Chad Gable looks to bounce back in a few weeks' time as he takes on Jonathan Gresham in the first round of the CWC. On the opposing side of that, Nathan Frazier looks to keep his momentum sky high. Certainly a big win to start off his trajectory in the CWC on the right foot, but tonight is where it matters most. It's first round action representing SmackDown against TNA's Zachary Wentz. Well, you saw the bracket and we saw what happened moments ago. It is Dragon Lee who awaits the winner of this contest in the quarterfinals. Bell has sounded. Here we go. Wentz and Frazier closing us out here on this Sunday afternoon in Midtown Manhattan. Nathan Frazier hot out of the gate, taking Wentz off his feet. Coincidentally enough, it is Nathan Frazier wearing the black and blue of Friday Night SmackDown, and Zachary Wentz wearing the red and yellow of TNA Wrestling. Maybe a little brand supremacy hanging between these two superstars tonight. Nonetheless, it is about more than just what show you are representing. The CWC of the utmost highest importance for all 16 athletes who are heading to Midtown Manhattan over the next few weeks. Frazier looking sharp in the early going. Just because you are starting out this match hot does not mean you'll be able to close. We saw what happened to Cruz del Toro a few moments ago. Nathan Frazier, however, looking to write a different story. Wentz on the outside, tope suicida. Out comes Frazier hot. Well, regardless of what happened to Del Toro in the first round matchup, just getting caught by Dragon Lee, Nathan Frazier's got his own blueprint, and so far he is executing it to perfection off the missile drop kick. First cover of the matchup, slides in, referee Chad Patton looking to call this one. Zachary Wentz, however, still in this matchup. Wentz is going to have to try to survive the early fury from Nathan Frazier as he has come out explosive. But Zachary Wentz and his offense said to be out of this world, a former champion in TNA Wrestling for a reason. It's not too long ago, Wentz was the X Division champion over there. And looking to prove why he is championship worthy here. The hell does he got in mind? Forget coast to coast. He's traveling from galaxy to galaxy. Out of this world is Zachary Wentz. What a freaking maneuver on Nathan Frazier. These two gentlemen holding nothing back on this Sunday afternoon in Hammerstein. And Acai moonsault by Wentz into the cover. May have stunned Frazier in the early going. Nathan showing it's going to take a lot more to keep him down. Nathan Frazier knocked Wes Lee out of the first round last year, coincidentally enough, as he meets Zachary Wentz this year. Now looking to make his way to the finals and write a different story in 2024, but it is Zachary Wentz who is looking to be his kryptonite all over again. Frazier sent to the top. The hell does Wentz have in mind? Whatever it is, Nathan Frazier obviously trying to avoid it. Does not want to see disaster. These two men holding no punches in the early going, jockeying for position in a very uncarious position on the ropes. Oh, wait a minute! Poison Rana off the ropes! And just as it seems it'll be for the next 8 weeks, Manhattan, New York are on their feet. Zachary Wentz all over the place, matching Nathan Frazier's energy. Thought Frazier came out like a spark plug, explosive as all hell. Zachary Wentz trying to one-up him. And there's a nice sidestep by Frazier, realizing off that Poison Rana that Wentz nearly closed this matchup in a jiffy. Down he goes, and scurries up into the pinfall. Commending Nathan Frazier to try to get that 3 count, but if this opening few moments has shown us anything, it is going to take a lot for these two superstars to keep each other down. Once again, it is Wentz looking to take flight, or instead, just takes off with some fire underneath his feet. Combination strikes, and again, Nathan Frazier is still in this matchup. Frazier once again with a sidestep. They don't call it high risk, high reward for nothing. What a combination there. Anything you can do, I can do better. Wentz with the combination strikes, Nathan Frazier with the swing blade and right into the shooting star. No hesitation to attack. And really, that's the mentality that every man in this tournament needs to have. Oh, Frankensteiner off the top. This is one of those contests where the action simply speaks for itself. Wentz once again taking off his feet. Roll to the outside, trying to create some distance. I'll tell you, these two men came in with a blueprint, but I think the explosiveness of one another has just got each other thinking on their feet. Trying to throw any high-risk maneuver to keep the other down, or maybe a simple enziguri will be enough for a KO punch. Wentz sent back inside the ring, and ever since that Frankensteiner off the top with a springboard on it, Wentz has been dazed. But there you go, he closes the gap that time. Man, already in this contest, these two men have expended their energy. At some point, you're going to have to tap into the reserves. Save some for the back half. Hold on now. Zachary Wentz. Canadian Destroyer! Off the middle rope. Wentz has got to be seeing stars. Or I shall say Frazier, as he's the one looking up with the lights. Wentz is now on top going for a swanton bomb. Nobody home on the delivery. Wentz trying to let adrenaline fuel him here, fight through the pain. There's another sidestep by Frazier. Both these guys doing anything they got to do to keep each other down and wiped out momentarily. What a contest in the first round of the CWC, as once again Wentz takes it to the air with the acai moonsault. Has got to realize that Nathan Frazier has read that playbook already. Into the schoolboy trying to steal the victory, but referee Chad Patton just a little out of position. Pendulum of momentum swinging back and forth the last few moments or so. Nathan Frazier once again creating some separation. Oh, hold on here. Wentz might have got caught. He got caught, definitely. Suplex to the outside. All this high-flying action, and it's a suplex that might have finally neutralized TNA's Zachary Wentz. Frazier now just trying to do anything he can to keep Wentz off the soles of his boots. A possible lifeless body sent back inside the ring. Nathan Frazier now scaling the ropes. Well, somehow Wentz getting to his feet, and once again Frazier, oh, Wentz. I don't know who got the worst of that. I think Nathan Frazier might have dodged Wentz knocking him off. Either way, it's Frazier who's getting dumped on his crown. Just when you think one of these participants are down and out, They rise like a phoenix. This just goes to show you what this Cruiserweight Classic tournament means to everybody participating in it. They saw what the tournament did for Ilya Dragunov's career last year. Got him championship opportunities. Has positioned him as one of the top stars on Friday nights. Wentz off the top. Looking to represent TNA with flying colors. And Frazier once again kicking out, and you see desperation on the face of Zachary Wentz. Had to believe that was it. Wentz once again going for the Acai moonsault, and it delivers. Frazier's dead center of the ring, or at least he was, a prime target. All of a sudden, Frazier's got daylight. Back and forth, these two men are swinging here in Midtown. Wentz now sent to the corner. Frazier hoists him on the ropes. Somehow has the strength to do so this late in the matchup. The hell's he looking for now? Both bodies going to spinning. Hustles up into the pinfall. Nathan Frazier unable to put Zachary Wentz away, but you gotta commend the efforts of both of these gentlemen. Wentz squashed in the corner. These two men throwing everything in the kitchen sink at each other. Wentz once again is down. Frazier off the ropes, nobody home. These two men matching each other's energy tonight, willing to feel the pain and the agony of this contest on Monday morning. Wentz is dropped. Both of these individuals looking to punch their ticket to the quarterfinals in just a few weeks' time, where they will meet NXT's Dragon Lee. Wentz once again sent to the opposing corner. Whatever Nathan Frazier's got in mind, it's going to be on hold as Wentz with the reversal that time, and now it's him utilizing the middle buckle off the tornado. Frazier on the outside, needing the ropes just to get to his soles. Off the springboard again, and Wentz eats a pair of boots. Incredible contest here as now Nathan Frazier once again seems to have something in mind. Wentz sent it outside, and again off the reversal. You see the body starting to slow down a bit. At this late in the match, fatigue is finally starting to set in, and they're saving their energy for when they need it most, for when they need to be explosive. Tap into those reserves when it matters. Wentz hoisted on top once more. Nathan Frazier, there you go, tapping into those reserves. German suplex that just sent Zachary Wentz from pillar to post. Going for a Phoenix splash, but he crashed and burned. Mamma mia, Nathan Frazier might have just cost himself. Wentz now, somehow back on top. Going for a swanton bomb, but it misses for the second time. These two men did their homework, and so far they're acing the test, and there has not been a 3 count on either side of the ring. Zachary Wentz looking up at the lights momentarily. Nathan Frazier with a swanton bomb of his own. What did we say earlier? Anything you can do, I can do better. Unfortunately, the shock on Frazier's face says it all. What is it gonna take? These two men leaving everything they got on that canvas tonight. Wentz just throwing a couple Hail Marys, trying to find a way to knock Zachary Wentz's lights out, and that super kick might have done it. Both of these men exhausted from this physical battle. But it's Frazier to his feet first, and that may give him an open opportunity. Frazier feeling froggy. Frog splash delivered. And after an exhilarating contest, Nathan Frazier and his never slow down mentality ends up the victor. An incredible performance from bell to bell by both of these gentlemen, and you gotta give your hat off to the former TNA X Division champion at Zachary Wentz, showing why his name was worthy to participate among the 16 in the Cruiserweight Classic tournament this year.
Here is your winner, Nathan Frazier.
Nathan Frazier, however, the man who just had a little bit more left in the tank. And as Zachary Wentz's name fades to black, Nathan Frazier will move on to meet Dragon Lee in the quarterfinals. And we are getting right down to the action inside the prestigious Hammerstein Ballroom.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Kobe, Japan, weighing in at 156 pounds,
Akira Tozawa, representing Thursday Night SmackDown in the midst of the Cruiserweight Classic, was bounced out of the first round last year by Johnny Gargano. But as you can see, Tozawa has competed in all 3 Cruiserweight Classic tournaments, and he's looking to make his 3rd outing his most successful one this Sunday afternoon. Cannot discount the power of Tozawa, a former Cruiserweight champion, 19-year veteran in this industry, and he certainly has the leg up against the young OG from NXT in Javon Evans. But don't discount the man that Tozawa battles tonight, as this young man has got all the potential.
And his opponent from Greensboro, North Carolina, weighing in at 170 pounds, Javon Evans.
I am not sure there has been a young man who has made such waves like Javon Evans has in the history of WWE. Just showing up in NXT last year has already made waves and been inside the squared circle with some of the best that brand, has to offer. Javon Evans, signing with the WWE at only 19 years old, enters this tournament at only 20 years old. Javon has already held the World Championship in Deadlock Pro Wrestling, but now, in the biggest industry there is, WWE, he looks to start down the road of winning the Cruiserweight Classic tournament. Javon Evans, young yet full of potential. But can he get through the veteran in Akira Tozawa as we continue on with the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic tournament? Bell has sounded. We are underway for this interpromotional battle between Tozawa and Evans. SmackDown versus NXT. Here on your Sunday afternoon, Tozawa striking while the iron's hot. Javon Evans with the size advantage over Akira. But Tozawa has showed over the 19 years he has spent inside of that squared circle that size does not matter at times. Very familiar with chopping superstars. Down to size as he just outsmarts Javon Evans that time. Gets him trapped into the corner. Unloads with some strikes. Tozawa knows how to let him fly. Javon Evans all about leaving his feet. They don't say that boy is bouncy for no reason. And here we go, standing moonsault. Javon Evans looking for a breakout performance in the midst of the Cruiserweight Classic tournament. We've seen what this tournament has done to many superstars over the years. Just last year, Ilya Dragunov winning the whole thing. You fast forward 12 months, Dragunov certainly one of the faces of Thursday Night SmackDown. Look at a guy like Nathan Frazier, who you of course saw in action last week here. Did not win the Cruiserweight Classic tournament last year, but was so impressive that he went on to sign with SmackDown nonetheless. Could be an opportunity that awaits Javon Evans. All remains to be seen what his result will be here in the CWC. Evans may be young, yet full of potential, but these are the opportunities that matter most. This is where Javon has a chance to shine and show that he belongs, but Akira Tozawa is not going to make it easy for him. As we mentioned, Akira Tozawa has now competed in all 3 Cruiserweight Classic tournaments, 2016, 2023, and now 2024. And as he sends Javon Evans to the outside, it is a reminder that Akira Tozawa is looking for his best performance yet. Over the top rope goes Tozawa. Javon Evans may be known for taking things to the air, but so is Akira Tozawa, one of the many strengths in his playbook. Once again, impactful Frankensteiner taking Javon Evans down to the canvas. Hustles up into the pinfall here. Evans still in this match. Talked about a few minutes ago as well how Akira Tozawa, former Cruiserweight champion, that was several years ago. Tozawa also very decorated in the Dragon Gate promotion over the years. Looking for some success here in the CWC, and I'll bite so far so good against Javon Evans on this Sunday afternoon. Javon has got to make sure that the pressure of the spotlight is not too much to handle. Certainly the biggest spotlight he has ever been under in his career here in the Cruiserweight Classic. And although he has had some outings with some of the best NXT has to offer, the CWC has proven to be a catalyst for success here in the WWE. Javon Evans looking to use it to the most advantage this Wednesday, or I should say this Sunday afternoon. Got Tozawa down on the canvas right now. This is what Evans is, dare I say, smartest decision he can make. Loves to take things to the air, but he's got Akira Tozawa down and out. Why not try to keep him there? Wait a minute, spin kick, my goodness. Something very similar that Tozawa usually institutes. Javon Evans looking to beat him at his own game. And a nice springboard that time. The young OG over the top rope as Akira Tozawa was looking up with the lights. Javon just made it with that crossbody splash. Javon Evans showing some intestinal fortitude here at the Cruiserweight Classic. Showing he is gutsy, showing he is resilient, and showing he is willing to do anything it takes to advance to the quarterfinals of this tournament. Oh man. Willing to get down and dirty, break things down to a brawl if need be. Sending Tozawa right into those diamond-plated steps. Referees at a count of 5. Javon Evans may have an opportunity to just go for a count out here. Certainly wouldn't be the most exciting way to end this thing. Well, hold on, Evans got something else in mind. Off the top with an elbow to the outside. From the young OG, Javon Evans driving his elbow into the heart of a former Cruiserweight champion. Tozawa looking up at the lights 2 times in a row just to see Javon Evans coming into the line of fire. And now Evans hustling up now into the cover. And damn near almost had this matchup won, but Tozawa's still into it. I'll tell you, if Javon was ever going to play catch-up, that series of maneuvers to the outside of the ring was certainly a way to do so. Especially after Akira Tozawa had really set the precedent in the early part of this matchup. It is the young OG who is starting to take over the veteran. Goes for the springboard moonsault. Nobody home in the delivery. Now Tozawa, all of a sudden, with Evans up against the ropes, goes underneath of the much larger individual. Nice head scissors takedown. Tope Suicida shot out like a cannon. And all of a sudden, it is Akira Tozawa who is back into this matchup. Javon Evans may be in trouble. Poison Rana to advance to the quarters. Javon Evans gets the shoulder up. Another gutsy showcase there by the young OG. Evans sent to the corner. Tozawa full head of steam. Realizing that Javon may be surviving, but he certainly isn't thriving. Evans is rocked. Tozawa knows it. Tozawa cannot let the pageantry of the moment soak into his brain, take his eyes off the ball. Javon Evans gonna try to rally here. Tozawa on the other hand, around and around we go. Sunset flip into the pinfall. Almost caught him that time. Evans able to pop the shoulder up, but clearly starting to show fatigue. Tozawa's instituted a lot of major offense throughout this matchup. Evans, credit where credit's due, surviving. There's another counter there by Tozawa. And there's the veteran experience, just allowing the young and naive Javon Evans to come to him. Now Tozawa on top. Caught Evans momentarily. He's on spaghetti legs. Oh, wow, is that a headbutt? I believe it was. Tozawa going for a knockout blow. On the standing, Javon Evans, talk about a way to get your opponent off his feet. Tozawa literally using his own body as a weapon, throwing caution in the wind. There's Evans putting the brakes on, we should say, blocking Tozawa's offense. Enziguri, shining wizard, whatever you want to call it. Javon Evans' lights have got to be turned off. But the young OG continues to fight. Tozawa throwing everything he can think of in his arsenal to try to keep down the 20-year-old representative from NXT, but this young man is clearly built different. Akira Tozawa, the veteran, may be racking his brain trying to figure out what he's got to do to keep this young competitor down. Evans rolling the hell out of dodge that time, sends Tozawa into the ropes. What a kick of his own! Now or never, in my point of view, for Javon to get back into this. Wow, what a double stomp! That is why they say this young man stays feeling bouncy. You see the way he used the ropes to get the extra adrenaline, the extra oomph on that double stomp. Akira Tozawa looks like he's seen better days. Now it's Javon Evans who's trying to find that window of opportunity that's not only to get momentum back on his side, but is going to have Tozawa looking up at the lights of Hammerstein Ballroom once more. See, he's not going fancy here. Just keeping things simple and effective. You got to commend that out of the young, and as we mentioned a few moments ago, sometimes naive competitor. Nice snapmare. Akira Tozawa taken out on the canvas. And Tozawa may be in trouble. Javon Evans going to the top. That boy is feeling bouncy. Into the cover. Javon's on his way to the quarterfinals.
Here is your winner, Javon Evans.
Well, the 19-year veteran in Akira Tozawa upset by the only 20-year-old Javon Evans in the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament. An amazing showcase by the young OG from NXT, who now finds himself on his way to the next round, the quarterfinals of the CWC. Javon joins Nathan Frazier and Dragon Lee in the upcoming round, but who will meet him there? Will it be Axiom or will it be Wes Lee? We find out coming up next here in Manhattan. We're back inside the hallowed halls of Hammerstein Ballroom. And it is time for your final first-round match of the Cruiserweight Classic, at least for this Sunday afternoon. Still so much more action to come in this great tournament.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Dayton, Ohio, weighing in at 183 pounds, Wes Lee.
Well, Wes Lee hoping to have better luck than his friend Zachary Wentz did last week here at the Cruiserweight Classic, and Lee looking to have better luck than he did last year here in the CWC. Lee was a first-round knockout in last year's tournament, bounced by Nathan Frazier, who has already punched his ticket to the quarterfinals, as you saw last week. Nathan Frazier, of course, will meet one half of the new WWE Tag Team Champions in Dragon Lee in just a few weeks' time in the quarterfinals. As for Wes Lee and or Axiom, the winner of this matchup on their way to go one-on-one with Javon Evans in the quarterfinals. And just as Wesley is looking for a different result than 12 months ago, so is this man. Axiom bounced last year by the inevitable winner, Ilya Dragunov. Now these two men back in the fold, a part of the 16-man tournament. But who will punch their ticket to the quarters?
And his opponent from Madrid, Spain, weighing in at 154 pounds, Axiom.
Well, you know, it's been some time since Axiom's been in consistent singles action. Has spent a lot of time teaming up with Nathan Frazier over the last few months on SmackDown. Axiom's got to feel good knowing Frazier's already punched his ticket to the quarterfinals. Will Axiom be joining him? That is the question we await an answer to. Hell, if those two gentlemen are really lucky, or maybe you should say unlucky, they could end up beating each other in the semifinals of this tournament. Don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. All remains to be seen if Axiom's even going to be able to get past the first round this year. Well, one of these men is going to break the curse of last year's tournament. They were both bounced in the first round 12 months ago. Inevitably, somebody's got to move on as they meet in the first round this year. Wesley and Axiom going at it. Wesley, as we mentioned, not looking to have the same fate as his old tag team partner and good friend Zachary Wentz did last week. Wentz going down in a blaze of glory, absolutely. Incredible matchup with Nathan Frazier here at the Cruiserweight Classic, but Wesley is looking to get his hand raised this Sunday afternoon in Midtown Manhattan. Coming hot out of the gate on Axiom. Let's see if Lee's going to be able to keep this momentum up. I don't know what he was going for there. Maybe a cannonball, maybe a blockbuster, but Axiom read it like a playbook. Axiom's got a little bit of versatility in his arsenal. Loves to take things to the air, absolutely, but will ground and pound on his opponents if need be. Superstar all the way from Spain. Looking to finally start making a real impact on SmackDown, and he could do so in the Cruiserweight Classic tournament. Well, for the early cover, I think Axiom knew he wasn't going to get the pinfall that time. He's forcing Wesley to expend a little bit of energy. Off the Inseguri, Lee go to the outside, and Axiom throwing his own body into the wind. Skyward here in Manhattan. Looking like a blue suit Spider-Man out there. Shooting star press on the outside of the ring. Well, just like we said, Axiom not afraid to leave the soles of his boots and isn't afraid to get his hands dirty either. We're seeing a little bit of everything out of Axiom ever since he turned the tables. Wesley tried to be the aggressor off the opening bell, and Axiom has completely denied him that satisfaction. This battle making its way to the outside of the ring here in Midtown Manhattan as Wesley now sent back inside the squared circle. Axiom may have an opportunity for an early pinfall. Alex against it, at least for now. Axiom heading to the top rope once again, looking to go skyward. Once again, Wesley is going down courtesy of Axiom. Beautiful arm drag followed by the moonsault. Axiom has got one goal in mind, and that's his foot on the gas pedal and going as fast as he can. Whatever he's got to do to ensure a different result than 2023 when his lights were turned off by the Mad Dragon Ilya Dragunov. Axiom is all over Lee. The versatility of maneuvers. We've definitely seen Wesley in better positions, and we're going to see another one right there. Sidestep, tilt to world DDT. Down goes Axiom momentarily. This is the high octane, high flying, high risk, high reward action that was promised in the Cruiserweight Classic. Another tilt to whirl. Dropping Axiom right on his crown. Lee now meets him in the corner with an uppercut. Wesley saying, anything you can do, I can do better. Springboard stunner! And now it's Lee, who is going 100 miles a minute. Only a 1 count that time. Referee Chad Patton from SmackDown calling the action between these two SmackDown superstars. Axiom struggling to get to his feet after an early onslaught by both men. You may see this matchup slow down just a bit. Only so many minutes of a contest that you can extend so much energy and continue to go, go, go. At some point, your body's gonna give. And an ear fall that time. You see Wesley's sense of urgency doing all he can to ensure his shoulder was not on the canvas for a count of 3. Oh my goodness! Axiom relying on familiar maneuvers in this matchup, and I don't think he gives a damn as long as it's effective. Sending Wesley to the ropes. Maybe trying to slow things down, but I don't know if Lee's gonna give him what he wants. Starting to unload, float over into the bridge, not done just yet. Lee's looking at making a dose, into the cover this time. Only, I don't even think he got a 1 that time. Impressive maneuver nonetheless. Wesley now has got Axiom up against the ropes. And this is where Axiom may find himself in trouble. Lee with fire underneath his feet. Wow, what a maneuver over the top! Leaving no stone unturned here in Midtown Manhattan. Axiom on the outside. Holy hell! Wesley with a springboard cutter down the ringside. Wesley reaching deep down on the bag of tricks to try to ensure his exit from the first round and his entrance into the quarterfinals. Off the springboard, into the cover. Will this be all she wrote? Not just yet. Axiom gets the shoulder up again. Incredible offense that time by the Cardiac Kid Wesley. Axiom looking worse for wear, that's for damn sure. Might have got his shoulder up, but how much is realistically left in the tank after such physically demanding maneuvers on both sides of the ring? Now Axiom brought to the top. Wesley. Frankensteiner! My goodness! And Axiom in the drop zone. Lee feeling froggy. Frog splash. How is this one not over? The Fosbury flop to the outside, followed by the springboard cutter. And you add the Frankensteiner, the frog splash, and yet somehow Axiom is still in this matchup and is actually continuing to fight. And now it's got Lee on his shoulders. A precarious situation. Axiom realizing he's got to play catch-up. A sense of urgency out of this Maindron superstar. Wesley, all kinds of tied up, has Axiom caught him with the submission hold. Trying to do anything he can to slow down the Cardiac Kid. Wesley trying to fight, not looking to see a first-round exit 2 years in a row. A little bit of distance created. Wesley misses wildly, and a thrust kick right to the jawline. Knockout blow any day of the week. Twice on Sunday, maybe not. Lee's still smelling the coffee. The action as hot as the freshly brewed here on this Sunday afternoon. And just like that, Wesley, the one who's looking worse for wear. Wesley looking like he's been through a car wreck. Axiom in the driver's seat. 2 weeks in a row, we have got barn burners here in Midtown Manhattan. Lee getting the knees up. Goes around, wait a minute. Oh, creative inside cradle. Trying to steal the victory, almost had Axiom. Lackadaisical as all hell, but a shoulder up nonetheless. Nice disc his forearm that time. Clearly Wesley is starting to throw anything he can, whether it's fists, whether it's uppercuts, whether it's forearms, just trying to knock Axiom's lights out for good. Sent to the corner. Axiom going for a drop kick. Reversal that time. Wesley trying to turn his sights to the buckles. Not sure what he had in mind that time. Now it's Axiom stopping him dead in his tracks into the bridge. This one's not over yet. On the top. Shooting star press. The action non-stop here in Hammerstein Ballroom. Goes for the press. Arabian press off the moonsault. Does not hit. Wesley counters. The action a mile a minute here at the Cruiserweight Classic. It may just come down to who wants it more. Who's got enough left in the tank? Who's going to continue to fight? Axiom sent to the outside momentarily. Wesley hot on his tail. Axiom getting crushed. And now Wesley dragging his carcass back inside the ring. Heading to the top. Wheels are a-spinning. And drop kick. Lands on the button. Oh, wait a minute. Inside credible on Axiom. Axiom gonna steal the victory here. No. Nathan Frazier, Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, the three superstars who have already punched their ticket to the quarterfinals. Wesley and Axiom, after tasting defeat in the first round last year, not looking to do so again, looking to join the names in the quarterfinals that have already advanced. I believe Wesley may have been cut open above the eye at some point. I don't think that was intentional by Axiom. I'm honestly not sure when that happened here, but Wesley is going to be smelling some blood. That is not going to go well for his longevity in this matchup. I mean, we already are in championship rounds here. Fatigue already going to be playing a factor as these two men are throwing live rounds. Axiom with a takedown, making a dose. And down he goes again. Axiom into the pinfall. Will that do it? It is not over yet. Man, oh man, what is it gonna take to see a result here in Midtown Manhattan? Double springboard blockbuster. Believe that was the maneuver that Wesley was looking for at the top of this matchup. Into the kick. Down goes Axiom again. Rolling to the outside, trying to get some R&R, create a little distance. Lee, however, closing the gap. Springboard shooting star press to the outside of the ring. My goodness. Axiom crushed it ringside by a flying Wesley. And now the Cardiac Kid headed back to the top rope. Could be going for a little spiral tap right on the spine of Axiom. Into the cover. And finally we can put on the brakes. This race to the finish line ends with Wesley outlasting Axiom in one hell of a battle. Nothing to be ashamed of in defeat. An unfortunate loss in the first round for Axiom, but you gotta give it up for his effort, and you gotta tip your cap to the Cardiac Kid.
Here is your winner, Wesley!
Wesley now completes the left side of the first round of the bracket. Lee will meet Javon Evans in the quarterfinals in a couple of weeks' time here in Midtown Manhattan. But we look forward to next week as the first round continues. Chad Gable representing SmackDown, and one of the best technical wrestlers around the globe, Jonathan Gresham representing TNA Wrestling. And speaking of total non-stop action, a legend of the franchise, Frankie Kazarian, takes on Latino World Order's representative in Joaquin Wilde. The first round has been off the charts 2 weeks in a row, and it continues right back here next Sunday afternoon, live at 12 noon Eastern Time. We are not going to have to wait long for those answers. Action is among us. We are live here in New York City. Let's get things underway.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring, representing the LWO from Chicago, Illinois, weighing in at 175 pounds,
Joaquin Wilde hoping to have better luck than his counterpart in the LWO, Cruz del Toro, had just a few weeks ago against Dragon Lee. Of course, great respect shown in that result. Cruz del Toro actually the one who put in the good word with Rey Mysterio to welcome Dragon Lee into the Latino World Order in recent weeks on SmackDown. But Joaquin Wilde looking to have better success, looking to make his way through a fellow veteran of the ring, a TNA legend in Frankie Kazarian. Frankie Kazarian, by all accords, should have been on this stage a long time ago, but here he is, entering a WWE ring, looking to make the most of this opportunity.
And his opponent from California, weighing in at 203 pounds, Frankie Kazarian.
Joaquin Wilde, a 20-year veteran. Frankie Kazarian made his debut in this industry even earlier, 1998. He is not some young buck in this industry. Kaz has been around. And talking about TNA, a legend of that franchise. He is a former 5-time X Division champion, former 3-time tag team champion, and that is just a few of the accolades that he has acquired in that industry. But for the first time, Frankie Kazarian enters a WWE ring, one-on-one with SmackDown's Joaquin Wilde in the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic. Frankie Kazarian usually hovers around that 210, 215-pound mark, had to cut weight to make the 205-pound weight limit for the Cruiserweight Classic. He busted his ass, he made weight, and now here he is in the sold-out Hammerstein Ballroom. We are underway here for Week 3 in Midtown Manhattan. Joaquin Wilde from SmackDown, Frankie Kazarian from TNA. Entering that right side of the bracket this week as the second half of the first round commences, Joaquin Wilde looking to be the aggressor in the early going. Joaquin Wilde made his debut in this industry August the 21st, 2004. 20-year veteran. He has held championships all around the globe, including, TNA Wrestling as well. Joaquin Wilde off the Acai moonsault, nearly putting this thing away early. All around the globe, he has been in TNA Wrestling. He is also a former TNA X Division champion as well as tag team champion. Joaquin Wilde has covered similar ground as Frankie Kazarian in his years. And now covering the ground of the CWC as he takes things to the air. And in the early going, Wilde has exploded on the scene here in Midtown Manhattan. And you harken back to just 2 weeks ago, Cruz del Toro, very similar to Joaquin Wilde, came out of the gate the aggressor against Dragon Lee in his first round matchup. Unfortunately for Del Toro, they have expended too much energy in the first half of that matchup. Dragon Lee, of course, advancing to the quarterfinals in a few weeks' time. Joaquin Wilde looking to write a different story against TNA legend Frankie Kazarian. Wilde coming out hot in the early going, taking things skyward. Kaz looking to maybe slow down the pace of this matchup. Kazarian, as we mentioned, former 5-time TNA X Division champion, a OG of that brand. Made his debut in TNA in 2003, his pro wrestling debut, as we mentioned, in 1998. Kaz has been around the world time and time again on other people's dimes. Now here in a WWE ring, looking to make the most success here in the CWC. Crucifix bomb. You see Kaz has a little bit of a height advantage on Joaquin Wilde. Maybe that'll pay him dividends. You know, Kaz just recently, as we mentioned, made that weight for the Cruiserweight Classic, but had a little bit of time to rehydrate. May have put some water weight back on. May actually be entering this matchup technically above 205 pounds. And if that is the case, he may have a bit of a weight advantage over Joaquin Wilde as well in this tournament. Nonetheless, of the size and the strength and the weight Joaquin Wilde has toppled monsters in the past, and Frankie Kazarian may just be another. Off the spine buster, Kaz, it very much can be a throwback inside of that ring, sprinkled in with a little bit of high offense. Frankie Kazarian, in all accords, one of the greatest wrestlers to never hold the TNA World Championship. But even when you look at his resume, he has held championship gold, we should say, all around the globe. Kaz has earned his stripes in this industry and is looking to earn his stay here in the WWE. Springboard leg drop. Kaz loves to utilize that flying leg. Sure, it won't be the only time we see him pull it out. Not enough to put Joaquin Wilde away in the early moments, however. Great contest thus far. Wilde tried to dictate the pace in the early going. You see Kaz slowed it down just a bit, but instituted the right high-flying maneuvers at the right moment. Nice counter by Wilde. Kaz getting caught. Tilt to whirl off the middle buckle by LWO's Joaquin Wilde. Down goes Kaz again. LWO has seen some up and down success in recent weeks. Cruz del Toro getting knocked out of the CWC by an inevitable member of the Latino World Order. And the newest one at that, Dragon Lee. Of course, Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio winning back the WWE Tag Team Championship against Angel and Berto at the season premiere of SmackDown a few weeks ago. Nearly Kaz stealing the victory. Go back to this past Wednesday on Velocity. Rey Mysterio falling short to Andrade. Last night at Halloween Havoc for No Nation Gaming channel members. Dragon Lee picking up a singles victory over Andrade. Talk about all that. We talk about the up and down success of the LWO in recent weeks. Joaquin Wilde looking to be a successor for the unit. Off the middle rope again with a moonsault. Kaz rolled to the outside, and here's Wilde hot on his tail going skyward once again. You can't say that Wilde isn't holding his own. It's been quite some time since he has been in singles action, predominantly a tag team wrestler on Thursday Night SmackDown. Going for the frog splash, but there was no water in that pool. Kaz looking to take advantage of the misstep, sending Wilde into the ropes. High hip toss. Here's Kaz once again, now into the ropes. It's another reversal that time. Both men leaving the soles of their boots one higher than the other, but clearly it is showing to be high risk, high reward on this Sunday afternoon. Just when you thought Kaz was going to start building some momentum for himself in this matchup, Joaquin Wilde turning the tables. Interpromotional matchup here between SmackDown and TNA Wrestling. I'm sure both men want to do their brands justice. Kaz now in a high elevated position, DDT by Joaquin Wilde. Manhattan coming unglued. Kaz eats the canvas for Sunday brunch. And Wilde nearly advancing to the quarterfinals, but there is the veteran instincts of Kazarian pulling to be a difference maker. Reaching out, grabbing the ropes, and this matchup will continue. Joaquin Wilde thought he had Kaz down and out, and if he was near away from the ropes, maybe more center of the ring, this one could have been over with. Frankie Kazarian reaching out, holding on, and this matchup gonna progress. Wilde on top, once again, Kaz saw it coming from a mile away. And now on the outside, tilt to whirl, tornado DDT. Frankie Kazarian reading Joaquin Wilde's playbook. Looking to send him, I don't know, I think Kaz is a little bit indecisive here, whether he wants to take things back into the ring or maybe break things down to a brawl at ringside. Maybe a naive mistake from the veteran. There's a sidestep there. Kaz sending Wilde back inside the ring. Frankie Kazarian looking to prove his worth. Springboard, disaster kick right to the jawline. Wilde may be seeing stars after that. Kaz now bringing Wilde into the corner. Not by will, but by force. Once again eats the turnbuckle. Frankie Kazarian has seen his fair share of tough singles bouts over the years. Talk about being a TNA legend. He has not earned that tagline by being just another Joe Schmo on the roster. He has been in there with the best of them, whether it be Christian Cage, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels. Kaz has seen them all, faced them all, probably beaten them all as well. All that work in the TNA brand, and he's looking to ride it into the Cruiserweight Classic. Great series of maneuvers. You saw another springboard leg drop that time, but Joaquin Wilde still alive. Wilde creating a little distance. Poison Rana! You want to talk about striking when the iron's hot. Kaz on spaghetti legs. Paraboots! Knockout blow any day of the week, twice on Sunday. But it's not over yet as Kaz muscles the shoulder off the canvas. With every fiber of his being, Frankie Kazarian finds a way to survive. Wilde thought he had this matchup won. Wilde going back to the top as Kaz is looking like a mannequin on the canvas. Hits the frog splash that he was hoping for a few minutes ago. But once again, Frankie Kazarian is still alive. That is the guts, that is the resilience, that is the intestinal fortitude of a man who has been around the globe in that ring and in many others, doing it at the highest level. Spanish Fly. Catching Wilde when he least expected it. Almost had this matchup done in a hurry. We've got a great one here in the midst of the first round. Who is going to kick off the right side of the bracket with a W? Wilde brought to his feet as Kaz is starting to build some momentum here. Wilde going for an amusement park ride off that electric chair. Wilde may have shown his best hands. Frankie Kazarian looking across the finish line first. Once again, Wilde goes down. Kaz is going to the quarterfinals.
Here is your winner,
Frankie Kazarian, TNA legend, marches into a WWE ring for the very first time. And although Joaquin Wilde gave him hell from bell to bell, Kaz proving his worth, proving even at this stage in his career, he can hang with the best of them. Frankie Kazarian advances to the quarterfinals of the 2024 Cruiserweight Classic Tournament. We await to see what happens next Sunday, but there is still action on hand live here in Midtown.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing in at 202 pounds, Chad Gable.
Chad Gable comes into the Cruiserweight Classic in a very interesting situation. This is a man who has not picked up a singles victory since the month of July. He's been on a bit of a losing streak on Thursday Night SmackDown. Gable entering the Cruiserweight Classic tournament, hoping to turn his momentum around in the highest honor. Gable, of course, also eyeing up the big strong boy Tyler Bate, hoping that Tyler Bate is going to advance next Sunday and continue to defend that Cruiserweight Championship. Inevitably, you could get your chance at the Cruiserweight title if Tyler Bate advances, and if you do as well. Chad Gable hoping to do so this Sunday afternoon. Certainly going to be a tough task for Alpha Academy's head leader.
And his opponent from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 180 pounds, Jonathan Gresham.
Jonathan Gresham, a 19-year veteran in this industry. As you see on your screen, has won 6 tournaments across independent wrestling throughout his career. That includes CZW, Best of the Best, WXW 16 Karat Gold in Germany, just to name a few. but he comes in representing TNA Wrestling. Jonathan Gresham, well known as one of the best technical wrestlers around the globe today, and he meets pound for pound one of the best wrestlers inside the squared circle that WWE has to offer in the midst of the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic. Chad Gable, of course, a former Olympian, 2004 Minnesota State Wrestling Champion, 2012 U.S. Olympic Trials Champion. These two men know their way around the canvas. Who is going to out-wrestle the other in the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament? Very interesting pairing. Another SmackDown versus TNA contest as we continue forward with the first round. Chad Gable, as we mentioned, coming in on a bit of a losing streak. Will that be an effect to his confidence as he looks to get the victory in the early moments here? You want to talk about confidence? I don't think Chad Gable thought he was going to get the victory over Gresham right there. But just trying to get into the psyche of the TNA representative. Jonathan Gresham, as we mentioned, known to be one of the best technical wrestlers in the world today, looking to test himself in his first time ever meeting against Chad Gable. Chad Gable coming into this thing with a lack of momentum. Jonathan Gresham coming in riding a high, representing TNA Wrestling and getting this opportunity. And you gotta believe Gresham feels a little bit more motivated watching Frankie Kazarian move on moments ago in this tournament. Of course, the winner of this matchup will meet Kazarian in just a few weeks' time in the quarterfinals. Imagine if we do get a TNA versus TNA matchup in a WWE ring. How historic that could be in the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament as Jonathan Gresham showing his agility that time. Gresham may be one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, but make no mistake about it, just as Chad Gable does not mind, willing to leave the soles of his boots if he needs to. Notice Chad Gable leaving his Alpha Academy compadres in the back tonight. No Otis, no Maxine Dupree. As Gable's momentum has been lacking as of late, he is looking to focus on the task at hand. Not be a leader, not be a teacher, just focus on being a winner this Sunday afternoon. Jonathan Gresham beat down in the corner momentarily, and Gable gonna send him inside and out. Chad Gable, another man who has contested for championship gold throughout this year, has really played into his lack of momentum as Gable's chase for gold not going his way on numerous occasions. Just last month, or I should say 2 months ago, Saturday night's main event in Gable's hometown in Minneapolis. He came up short contesting Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship. Just one of several losses that is raked up for Master Gable. Gresham trying to meet Gable on the outside. Chad Gable, no interest in wrestling this matchup on the outskirts of the ropes. Sidesteps Gresham that time and immediately brings this fight back between them, and down goes Gresham again. I'll tell you, one of Gable's best strong suits inside of that ring is his unique takedowns. We have already seen a couple of them here, and Gable into the German. Going for the pinfall that time. Referee Charles Robinson, little bit out of position. May have gotten a 2, but that certainly wasn't going to be a 3 either way you spin it. Gable, so many suplex variations in his arsenal as well. Jonathan Gresham loves to employ them at times. Should be very interesting to see who is going to be the aggressor when it comes to the suplex situation, if you will, in this contest. So far, it looks like Chad Gable is going to be leading the score. Fisherman Buster that time, or at least a variation of it. So many different suplex variations. As we mentioned, Chad Gable very well may be the modern-day suplex machine, and what better building to showcase that than Hammerstein Ballroom? Gable better not get cocky, better not let his offense in this matchup. And I should say Jonathan Gresham's momentary takedown be a confidence boost and therefore a distraction. There you see, taunted to the crowd just for a second. Now, Jonathan Gresham with a suplex of his own, and I think Gable's head might have hit those turnbuckles. You're gonna talk about a knockout blow. I don't know if Gresham even meant to deliver those Germans, or I should say that German, into those buckles. But had to strike while the iron was hot. The position was there, and certainly didn't work out for Master Gable. Now Gresham already got Gable on the canvas, going to look to meet him there. And Jonathan Gresham, I don't think, is afraid to get into a strict grappling contest with Gable on the canvas. See him employing this submission hold right now. I think same thing as Gable's early pinfall. Gresham knowing he wasn't going to get the victory, but just trying to, get into the psyche of Chad Gable. And also maybe try to weaken the arms and try to take away some of the suplexes. But Gable's showing Gresham it's going to take a hell of a lot more to keep him down. A lot of back and forth offense so far in this first round matchup. Neither man really getting sustained momentum, but there's a belly-to-belly suplex by Gable, who looks to again be the aggressor. Chad Gable, decorated tag team superstar here in the WWE, Grand Slam tag team champion across Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Has been on the hunt for singles gold for, hell, well over a year here in WWE. Because last year around this time, he was chasing Santos Escobar for the Cruiserweight Championship, even going back to last year in this very building at the Cruiserweight Classic 2023 finale. Gable challenged Escobar for that title. It was another unsuccessful outing. Wow, look at that German suplex, exploding the hips, and Gresham going for a ride. Inside and out, Gable's looking good. We can talk about the failures of the last year and high-stakes situations for Chad Gable all we want, and especially over the last few months on SmackDown, but make no mistake about it. Gable with all the tools to be a success, he just needs to put the pieces together. Gable in firm control has really started to take over this matchup over the last minute and change. Gresham rolling to the outside, trying to create a little distance, get a little R&R. May have been hoping Gable chased after him so we can try to catch him slipping, and that's exactly what happened. Oh, wait a minute. Or maybe it's Gresham who gets caught. Gable, face first goes Jonathan. Into the cover. Will that do it? Not just yet. Jonathan Gresham still alive. Chad Gable with some great offense in this contest, but not enough to see a 3 count thus far. Gable looking to keep his foot on the gas pedal, does not want to allow a rally from Gresham here. Another suplex variation. Gable may not have gotten the 3, but he is in firm control of this matchup. You see Jonathan Gresham, he's surviving, but he certainly ain't thriving at the current moment. Chad Gable going to the top, looks to be calling for the end of this matchup. Going for a headbutt, and he got him right in the back of the skull. Gresham looked to be rolling out of the way. Gable leaping far enough to catch him. Unfortunately for Chad, Gresham is still in this contest. We have got another good one in the midst of the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic. Chad Gable, you see momentarily there, looked to be racking his brain. Realizes he cannot allow another misstep. Does not want to see yet another loss, especially with the lights on bright this Sunday afternoon. We saw what this tournament did for the likes of Ilya Dragunov last year. Propelled him to becoming one of the faces of Thursday Night SmackDown. That is what all of these superstars are really contesting for. The fame, the glory, etching their name into the annals of history. One of these TNA wrestlers, it could catapult them to not only winning success in WWE, but huge opportunity in the TNA brand as well. Gresham trying to mount a comeback, trying new rally here in Midtown Manhattan. This illustrious tournament has seen many great stars, and it's 2 outings yet. But now in its 3rd year, we see TNA wrestlers competing with the likes of SmackDown and NXT, and all of these men looking to be known as the best of the best in the Cruiserweight division. Exploder into the corner by Gresham. Jonathan Gresham looking good, feeling good, may have Gable rocked. Just as we said about Gable a few minutes ago, Gresham's got to keep his foot on the gas, getting set into the corner. Look at the agility to scale the buckles. Here comes Gresham. Fired up. Down goes Gable. Gable might have shown his best hands throughout this matchup thus far, and Jonathan Gresham may have a window of opportunity here. Gresham, eyes locked. Could be going for that octopus stretch. Has got Chad Gable all kinds of tied up here. A pure pound-for-pound wrestler is Jonathan Gresham, and Gable's finding himself in a disastrous situation. He'll be on the verge of a tap out, a pass out, a simply I quit. But Gable able to get that submission hold broken, only to find himself looking up at the lights. Into another cover that time, and Chad Gable's still alive. Jonathan Gresham making the ring walk here in Hammerstein Ballroom, looking for one of the biggest victories of his illustrious career thus far. Chad Gable looking for the utmost important win to get him back on the right track here in WWE. Crucifix bomb into the pinfall, does not see a 3 count. It's a great effort by Jonathan Gresham in the last few moments, but has he now shown his best hands? As the tide shift, is Jonathan Gresham expended here? Has he shown all his energy? Gable, couple of shots. What has this American-made superstar got in mind? Belly to belly from the top to the center. Oh, wait a minute. Small package by Gresham. He's going to catch him here. Not to be denied is Chad Gable. Great wherewithal by Gresham, realizing he had the space to execute that inside cradle, middle of the ring. Did not get the 3 count, but what he did do is get back in the driver's seat. Gresham now, with every fiber of his being, trying to fight back. Nice drop kick to the outside. Noticed a couple of times throughout this matchup, Chad Gable was not interested in breaking things down to a brawl on the outskirts. Gresham has found himself the aggressor on the outside of the ring a couple of times. However, now it's Gable with a sense of urgency, sending Gresham right to the barrier. And right back inside the ring, Chad Gable sends Jonathan Gresham. Gable looking to get this done with no questions about it tonight. He wants the pinfall or he wants the tap out. Wow, look at the strength of Gable. Deadlifting Gresham into that German. You got to give credit where credit's due. Chad Gable, although he has not seen victory yet, is looking like $1,000,000 as he sends Gresham over the top with another belly-to-belly suplex. Dare I say, it looks like Chad Gable may be interested in a count-out victory here. Gresham's out, at least for the moment. Chad Gable, I don't know if he's going for a count-out or realizes Gresham's probably going to break it, but at least going to take the few moments to get some R&R. I'm going to go with the latter on that one. You saw Gable was ready as soon as Gresham got back inside the ring. There's some veteran instincts by Chad Gable. Gresham was using all his power just to get back inside the ring. Gable took a couple of moments to get a couple deep breaths, go back to the drawing board and figure out his next move. And he elects for another suplex. And at this round in the matchup, to see that kind of bridge out of Chad Gable speaks volumes on the cardio, the conditioning of the Alpha Academy's leader. Gresham breaking things up that time. Goes behind and muscles Chad Gable down. That is the technical wherewithal of the octopus himself. Nice knife edge chop now sending Gable into the ropes. Gresham picks the ankle. Gable gonna shove him off. Tried to pull the rug out from underneath of him. Gable not allowing Gresham that satisfaction. Now Chad Gable, you see fatigue starting to play a factor, but he may have one last ditch effort. Chaos Theory by Chad Gable. And that is going to do it. An incredible wrestling match and a great showing by TNA Wrestling standout Jonathan Gresham. But even one of the best technical wrestlers around the globe today, no match for American-made Alpha Academy leader Chad Gable. Great performance for Gable to get back on track. And after 2 more first-round matches, we look at the updated bracket. Of course, earlier tonight, Frankie Kazarian defeating Joaquin Wilde. And now we know, in just a few weeks' time, he meets SmackDown's Chad Gable in the quarter round. And we're not going to waste any more time. Let's get right down to the action here at the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Birmingham, England, weighing in at 205 pounds, the Bruiser, Wade P. Dunn.
The Bruiserweight, once again donning the Pete Dunne moniker last month on SmackDown. This man, a former two-time Intercontinental Champion, former World Tag Team Champion, former NXT United Kingdom Champion, but for the first time finds himself participating in the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament one-on-one with a familiar foe in the Scottish Supernova Noam Dar. These two international talents meeting on American soil tonight, and the stakes could not be any higher. Of course, the winner of this matchup will meet the winner of tonight's main event between JD McDonough and Tyler Bate in the quarterfinal round in just 2 weeks' time. What has been a busy week here in the WWE. Of course, we are 24 hours removed from Bad Blood that went down just last night in Boston. The replay available now. A little technical difficulties delaying us here today, but we are finally live on this Sunday afternoon for Week 4 of the Cruiserweight Classic. Hammerstein Ballroom jam-packed. These superstars are ready. The CWC has lit the world on fire for weeks, and this fire ain't getting put out anytime soon. Here comes an NXT representative.
And his opponent from Ayr, Scotland, weighing in at 178 pounds, Supernova 11, Noam Dar.
Noam Dar representing NXT, former Heritage Cup champion 3 times at that. And Noam Dar very familiar with the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament. Competed in the inaugural tournament back in 2016, participated in 3 rounds of that 32-man bracket. Back in 2016, Noam Dar defeating Gurv Sira in the first round, Ho Ho Loon in the second, and then fell short in the quarterfinal round to the brand new IWGP champion, Zack Sabre Jr. Congratulations to him. And Noam Dar looking to make his way all the way to the finals in 2024. That road could start here tonight, representing NXT in a battle against SmackDown representative Pete Dunne. The first round has lit the world on fire over the last 3 weeks. Week 4 looking to be nothing short of that. First round action is Pete Dunne one-on-one with Noam Dar. The Cruiserweight Classic Tournament officially continues. This is going to be a very interesting battle. You know, we have seen a lot of high-flying matchups in this tournament thus far, and not that these two men are afraid to leave the soles of their boots, but if there's one thing we know about Pete Dunne specifically, he would much rather just beat you down with his fist or his feet and just incapacitate you like he's already trying to do to Noam Dar. Did not earn that nickname many years ago as the Bruiserweight for nothing. Pete Dunne absolutely vicious inside of that ring. Will hold no punches if it means defeat. But he cannot underestimate Noam Dar tonight. Dar has been successful in his years in NXT. 3-time Heritage Cup champion. Looking to be one of the final men to secure a spot in the quarterfinals of the CWC. So far, it is all Pete Dunne in the early moments of this matchup. Of course, Pete Dunne last month on SmackDown defeating his rival in JD McDonough in a brutal Falls Count Anywhere contest. Pete Dunne, JD McDonough, Tyler Bate, 3 men that have been intertwined for quite some time on Thursday and previously Friday nights. JD McDonough, Tyler Bate gonna write the next chapter in their ever-growing rivalry right here in Hammerstein Ballroom. As for Pete Dunne, if he wants to get another opportunity at the Cruiserweight title, he's gonna have to make his way through the CWC. Not if Noam Dar's got anything to say about it. The Scottish Supernova, Supernova 11, whatever you want to call him, looking to make some waves here in Manhattan. Chucking Pete Dunne to the outside, but he better not hesitate because Pete Dunne coming right after his tail. But once again, Dunne knocked down a ringside. Noam Dar playing some mind games with Pete Dunne. You see, he didn't hustle up there, and that may have been a mistake. Allowed Pete Dunne to get to his feet, got a little bit of breathing room, and now the Bruiserweight is once again the aggressor here in the first round. So far, as we mentioned, we can expect Frankie Kazarian one-on-one with Chad Gable in 2 weeks' time. Next week here in Midtown Manhattan, Dragon Lee, Nathan Frazier are going to lock horns. Javon Evans and Wes Lee as well. We await one more quarterfinal matchup to be determined in this ever-exciting tournament. Pete Dunne showing you why he is the Cruiserweight, and he is not afraid to use his own body as a weapon if it means victory. Oof. Little soccer kick at an Noam Dar that time, just to take the rug right out from underneath the Cruiserweight's feet. Oh man. Noam Dar looking to rev up the engines. A Scottish destroyer if I ever saw one. And just like that, Noam Dar has taken control. Pete Dunne on spaghetti legs, and Dar is all over the Cruiserweight. Pete Dunne's gonna have to come out with some high-octane maneuvers, some hard-hitting ones, if and only if Noam Dar gives him some R&R and a window to take advantage of. If I'm Noam Dar, I am staying on the offense. I am pushing the metal and doing exactly what he's doing here, and just trying to beat down Pete Dunne before he can do the reverse. Well, submission hold locked in here by Supernova 11, dead center of the squared circle. There's Pete Dunne using his exposed knee to create a little distance and follows it up with a pump kick. Great offense, great reversal there by Pete Dunne, but there's a sidestep by NXT's Noam Dar. Dar looking to join Javon Evans as the next NXT representative in the quarterfinal round. All remains to be seen if he's going to be able to do so. Pete Dunne has been building some momentum for himself on SmackDown. Remains to be seen. Sound like a broken record saying it, if that momentum is going to keep up. Right now, Noam Dar shutting down any hope Pete Dunne had for a comeback in this matchup. Dunne rolling to the outside, trying to create a little bit of distance here, a little bit of breathing room. Oh no, off the forearm, has got Dar in his grasp. Suplex down to the floor of Hammerstein. What a maneuver by the Cruiserweight. Dar is gonna feel that one on Monday morning. Hell, I think I felt that one. Such impact off the suplex and then right to the diamond-plated steps. Sometimes there's nothing pretty about the arsenal of Pete Dunne. It is all effective. And just like that, Noam Dar, who's starting to stack up some offense, now finds himself with his back against the ropes. And Pete Dunne gonna go back to the well with what works. Limb by limb, bone by bone, looking to break apart the Scottish Supernova. Dar getting the shoulder up at one. Very impressive survival instincts that time. Let's see if he's got what it takes to keep down Pete Dunne. Oh, looking to give Dunne a little taste of his own medicine, going after the arm that time. Oh, wait a minute now. Noam Dar trying to expose the corner. Well, Dar never been afraid to get his hands dirty. Although he may not need that exposed steel, Pete Dunne is looking dazed. Noam Dar with a penalty kick that goes in the goal. Dunne set into the ropes. Noam Dar takes his lights out again. One kick after another. But Pete Dunne's still alive. Dar exposed that steel. I think he wanted to institute it there. You see referee Adrian Butler taking care of it. But I think Dar realized he may not have needed the steel as Dunne was in an opportune state. And now Pete Dunne with some fire underneath of him. Tope suicida to the outside. As we said at the top of this matchup, these two men not afraid to leave the soles of their boots. Is it what they rely on? Maybe not. But there you saw Pete Dunne electing for the dive to the outside to try to neutralize the Scottish Supernova. Unfortunately, Supernova 11 himself is back in control. Week after week, we are seeing some great fights here in the middle of Midtown. Dar back to the top, looked to be going for a splash, nobody home. Another reversal that time. Noam Dar trying to let adrenaline fuel him. A little bit overzealous. Half Nelson gets dropped on his crown. Business picking up here in the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic. Dar once again sent up against the buckles. I don't know what Pete Dunne's got in mind, but I got a feeling it's going to spell disaster for Supernova 11. Noam Dar about to be going to the moon and seeing some stars. Down he goes to the canvas. Manhattan coming unglued as once again Dar gets dropped in the back of his neck. Pete Dunne looked to be going for maybe a finale on this contest, but there's a reversal that time. Noam Dar evidently still has something left. Trying to kick things into a different gear. Once again, muscle down Pete Dunne with maneuvers similar to what makes the Bruiserweight special. Noam Dar feeling a sense of urgency, saw Pete Dunne rallying. Big time maneuver after another. Dar just trying to hustle up and find his way to victory, trying to survive Pete Dunne on this Sunday afternoon. Dunne once again sent to the corner and just squashed. Pete Dunne might have expended himself. Might have shown his best hand. Noam Dar might have this matchup in the bag. It's only a matter of time. Well, there's a reversal there. Don't count out the Bruiserweight just yet. Flipping Dar inside out. And I don't think Pete is done just yet. Noam Dar going to a bitter broken end. Pete Dunne moving on to the quarterfinals. Well, that was one hell of a matchup. The Scottish Supernova clearly was holding no punches, willing to get his hands dirty if it meant success. But the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, simply the better man on this Sunday afternoon here in Manhattan, New York.
Here is your winner, the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne.
The Bruiserweight making the most of this opportunity. A successful outing here in a jam-packed Hammerstein Ballroom. Pete Dunne advances in the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament as we take a look at the updated bracket. Pete Dunne joins 6 other names, now making it a total of 7 in the quarterfinals. One more spot to be determined within moments here in Manhattan.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship.
Well, no doubt the most high-stakes matchup of the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament thus far. And the Irish Devil J.D. McDonough certainly drawing the luckiest straw. Not only are we about to witness the final first-round matchup of the 2024 Cruiserweight Classic, but of course Tyler Bate insisting that he defended his title through each and any round he participates in this very tournament. You gotta believe if JD McDonough is successful on this Sunday afternoon, he will not be awarding Pete Dunne or anybody else those same opportunities. Nonetheless, Tyler Bate looking to be a fighting champion, just as he's been over the last 99 days since he defeated JD McDonough in London, England at Money in the Bank in July. McDonough has had a handful of opportunities to get back the title. One-on-one match on SmackDown interrupted by Pete Dunne. Granted, really the Irish Devil's fault on that one for having such issues with Pete Dunne that developed throughout the summer and into the fall. And it held just last weekend at Halloween Havoc Night 1 for No Nation Gaming channel members. McDonough, Dunne, and Tyler Bate. Triple threat ladder match. Tyler Bate pulling down the championship 1 week ago. You gotta believe if McDonough is unsuccessful, he is headed to the back of the line in the Cruiserweight division. It is go big or go home. If the Irish Devil wants his championship back, today is the time to get it. But you gotta believe this man isn't gonna go down without a fight. The big strong boy, Tyler Bate, at the helm of the Cruiserweight division. I am sure he has sat back and watched all the competition week in and week out throughout the Cruiserweight Classic tournament. The fighting champion looking to give everybody an opportunity, even if that includes a man he has had a lot of issues with for the last few months on SmackDown, and JD McDonough. But you got to give ups to Tyler Bate putting the championship on the line in a matchup that already has such stakes. The winner moves on to the quarterfinals. They will meet Pete Dunne in 2 weeks' time right back here in Manhattan, New York. The CWC continuing to heat up as we close out the first round. What has been an incredible 4 weeks here in Hammerstein Ballroom. Tyler Bate, JD McDonough, one more time for the Cruiserweight Championship and to advance in the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament. High stakes, high reward in the middle of a sold-out Hammerstein in Midtown Manhattan. Let us send things down to the ring to Mike Rome for the official championship introductions.
Introducing the challenger from Bray, County Wicklow, Ireland, weighing in at 180 pounds, JD McDonough. And his opponent from Dudley, England, weighing in at 175 pounds, the WWE Cruiserweight Champion, Tyler Bate.
Tyler Bate, another defense of the Cruiserweight Championship gold. Looking to be a fighting champion. I am sure he is hoping to get through McDonough, bury this story once and for all, and move on to challenge Pete Dunne in the quarterfinals. McDonough taking a gaze at the gold that he was obsessed with winning for months on SmackDown. Finally did, defeating Ilya Dragunov in a last man standing matchup back in the month of May. But Tyler Bate, the one who played spoiler. Final first round matchup of the CWC is underway. Referee Chad Patton wearing the zebra stripes this Sunday afternoon. JD McDonough hot out of the gate. These two men know each other's playbooks pretty well at this point after all their interactions over the last few months on SmackDown. McDonough not going to hold any punches. We're going to get this thing done in a jiffy here in Midtown. McDonough knowing he's going to have another encounter with Pete Dunne if he can get through Tyler Bate tonight. I am sure McDonough would not mind getting his hands on the man who defeated him in the Falls Count Anywhere last month. If this keeps up, McDonough's going to be in hot pursuit of doing so. Manhattan, New York with no choice but to show their appreciation as JD McDonough went skyward, but Tyler Bate looking to cut off McDonough's early offense. Not if the Irish Ace has anything to say about it. JD McDonough not going to give Tyler Bate any kind of breathing room here. Well, there's Bate sending McDonough back inside the ring. Well, once again, pulls the rug right out from underneath the big strong boy's feet. JD trying to steal the championship. Tyler Bate flips him inside out. Who's going to the quarterfinals? Will it be Tyler? Will it be JD? Back and forth they go. Referee Chad Patton getting an exercise in there. Oh! Some of that unique offense that Tyler Bate brings to the table. JD McDonough rolling to the outside here. Bate in hot pursuit with a tope of his own. Knocking down McDonough at ringside. Tyler Bate amped up. Here in Manhattan, a shooting star press at ringside now. Make it a dose. Tyler Bate matching JD McDonough's energy with this aggression here in the first round of the CWC. Some bad blood, no pun intended, after he just got done that PLA less than 24 hours ago. But bad blood between these two men that has developed since the month of July. Bate looking to end this once and for all here on this Sunday afternoon. Send JD McDonough not only out of the Cruiserweight Classic, but to the back of the line of the Cruiserweight division. There's Tyler starting to unload again. Great offense on the outside of the ring. Tyler Bate showing JD McDonough, if you want to break things down to a fight, I will meet you there. You're better off keeping this inside of the ring where you could actually have a chance at winning the title. There's a reversal by McDonough. Some early onslaughts from both of these men. Might have expended themselves a little too much. Starting to slow down a bit here. Got a feeling we are in for a war of attrition between JD and Tyler. As we talked about a few moments ago, wait a minute, hold that thought. Tyler Bate muscling JD down. Powerful legs does the big strong boy bring to the table. As we talked about, these two men been inside the squared circle with each other time and time again over the last few months on SmackDown and at premium live events as well. Starting to know each other's game books very well. You'll find yourself in a position where you got to mix up the offense and try to throw your opponent off their game. And I think Tyler Bate just being aggressive in this matchup is going to be something that surprises JD McDonough. Tyler Bate normally pretty reserved inside of that ring, does not let his emotions get the best of him. Very zen, as he would call it. JD McDonough has been a thorn in his side for long enough, and clearly McDonough showed in the first few moments of this matchup that he will stop at nothing to win the title. Tyler Bate sending McDonough to the outside. Tyler now diving over the top rope. This certainly is awesome as McDonough and Tyler Bate wage war for the highest prize in the Cruiserweight division. Tyler Bate wanting to be a fighting champion, wanting to give this division opportunities. He has been a fighting champion on SmackDown, but JD McDonough looking to be the man who strips him of his gold here today. I think Tyler Bate, or I should say I think JD McDonough's best decision at this point in the matchup, realizing that Tyler Bate is going to match his energy and go punch for punch, go dive for dive. McDonough's best offense would be to slow this down and incapacitate Tyler Bate. All remains to be seen if McDonough's going to have enough left in the tank. Tyler Bate with a lot of big-time offense over the last few minutes. Going right at JD McDonough. See McDonough slowing the pace of this contest down. The Irish Devil now scaling the ropes. Telling Tyler Bate to never bet against an ace. Tyler's got to take Tyler. I should say JD's got to take Tyler out of it. But once again, never take your eyes off the Cruiserweight champion. Nearly caught McDonough once again here in Midtown. Big time Saito follows up with another shooting star. Just when you think JD McDonough has taken Tyler Bate out of this thing, Tyler Bate continues to rise. Just goes to show you how much these two men have studied each other. What is there, a discount on shooting stars? Goes for another one, but Tyler Bate just relying on that maneuver one too often. I understand how effective it can be, but the Cruiserweight champion choosing to go to the well way too many times, and McDonough just caught him. Once again, JD McDonough's best offense is going to be to take away Tyler, slow him down. Putting him on the top rope here. What has the Irish Ace got in mind for a man who's been a thorn in his side? Here comes JD. Spanish fly for the top. And into the cover to advance and win gold. Not just yet. Man, what a first round of the Cruiserweight Classic we have seen over the last 4 weeks. There's still another 4 weeks of action to go. The quarterfinals kick off next week. Tyler getting to his feet, looking worse for wear, on the shoulders. Devil inside! McDonough's got it secured. Or maybe not. Tyler Bate muscles the shoulder up once again. Just when you think Tyler's out, he continues to rise like a phoenix. JD hanging up the champion in the trio woe here. What has he got in mind? Blow it out the back. Yeah, we said it. Tyler Bate's got to be hurting. Backstabber. That's moments removed from that devil inside, plus the Spanish fly off the top. Tyler Bates' lower body has got to be hurting him right now. Once again, Tyler, maybe a sense of urgency here. Gonna try to put together some maneuvers for himself. He's got JD McDonough loopy, or maybe we thought. Oh no, headbutt. McDonough going for the combination of strikes. All the offense that JD has instituted, but it's still not enough. Tyler Bate will not say die. Bate now, creating some distance after surviving some of JD McDonough's best. Elbow drop off the springboard. You got to commend Tyler Bate. You got to realize he is fighting through pain right now. McDonough looking up at the lights of Hammerstein Ballroom. Tyler Bate is rallying here in Midtown Manhattan. McDonough going to the outside, but I think this matchup thus far has proved that that is not a safe spot for the champion. Brain buster. And Bate is not done. The story of this matchup has told a very aggressive side of Tyler Bate, a very resilient side as well. Another shooting star. JD McDonough may have shown his best hand, and the Irish Ace may have no more cards left. If Tyler Bate rallies, this is going to be one hell of a comeback in the first round of the CWC, all over JD McDonough at ringside. Referee John Cohen at a count of 7. If both these men are counted out, Pete Dunne's going to get a first-class ticket to the semifinals immediately. Nonetheless, back inside the ring we go. Tyler Bate scaling the ropes. Some great offense at ringside. Physical at that. Gets caught up by JD McDonough. Scoop and a slam. Down goes the champ. JD McDonough might have cost Tyler Bate there. Now he goes to the top. They don't call it high risk. High reward for nothing. Pays off. Every time Tyler Bate looks to rally, there it is again. McDonough set to the ropes, not by will, but by force. There's the strength of the Cruiserweight champion. Pure muscle. Pound for pound, maybe the strongest man in this entire tournament. Unfortunately for Tyler, desperation all over his face as JD McDonough continues to persevere. Signature strikes. Both these men are just emptying the tank right now. The action speaks for itself. How much these two men got left in the tank? Tyler heading to the top. Could be going for that corkscrew. Right to the gullet of JD McDonough. Tyler Bates got this matchup in the bag.
Here is your winner, and still the WWE Cruiserweight Champion, Tyler Bate.
Tyler Bate putting to rest a multiple-month issue with JD McDonough, retaining his Cruiserweight Championship, all the while punching his ticket to the quarter-final round. Wesley was able to survive an exhilarating fight against Axiom, but can he get through one of the hottest prospects of the black and gold brand?
The following contest is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Dayton, Ohio, weighing in at 183 pounds, Wesley!
Wesley, of course, a former NXT Tag Team Champion, but he is looking for single success. This is the man who has been a part of the main roster for just about 2 years at this point, and has challenged for the Cruiserweight Championship on several of occasions. Wesley looking to top off his road in the quarterfinals by punching his ticket to the semis. Wesley, as we mentioned, might have drawn blood against Axiom several weeks ago, but was still the survivor on the other side of the bell. If that doesn't show you the lights that Lee is willing to travel in the means of success, I don't know what will.
And his opponent from Greensboro, North Carolina, weighing in at 170 pounds, Javon Evans.
Wesley may have traveled into deep waters, but here we have Javon Evans, who, as you saw in the highlights, was able to outlast the veteran in Akira Tozawa. This young 20-year-old superstar has already held a world championship in Deadlock Pro Wrestling, now signed to the WWE at only 19 years old, and has already made waves in less than a year in the NXT brand. Now the young OG looks to continue to shock the world, looks to continue to make waves and shine his star the brightest if he can get through Wesley and punch his ticket to the semifinals of this tournament. This promises to be a high-flying affair between Wesley, who in this matchup would be considered the veteran, against the young OG, Javon Evans. This is the first of 4 quarterfinal bouts that will take place over the next 2 weeks right here in Midtown Manhattan, all a part of the 2024 Cruiserweight Classic. We are underway, still to come this afternoon. One half of the WWE Tag Team Champions in Dragon Lee takes on Nathan Frazier in a SmackDown collision. Here we have an interpromotional battle. Wesley in the green, Javon in the orange. Lee, the aggressor, off the opening bell. Javon Evans loves to take things to the sky. They don't say that young man is bouncy for no reason, but Wesley has never been afraid to go high up. We have seen him soar through the skies against Axiom in recent weeks. Who is going to get higher here tonight? There's Javon Evans there, taking down Wesley. Dead center of the ring off the standing moonsault. Only a 1 count that time, and I think Javon Evans knew he wasn't going to get the victory. Just trying to mess with the psyche of Wesley in the early going. Also forces him to extend a little bit of energy there as Lee gets taken to the outside. What did we say about Javon? That boy is bouncy as he heads over the top rope. Each and every week, it's only a matter of minutes before Hammerstein Ballroom is on their feet. This is what the Cruiserweight Classic is all about. Javon off the springboard. The young OG looking hot in the early moments. He's able to outlast an early fury from Wesley and now finds himself in the driver's seat. Takes down Lee to the canvas once more. Now hustling up to the pinfall. NXT referee Adrian Butler right there to call for the 3 count, but not to be just yet. And this action has been hot and heavy throughout the Cruiserweight Classic, exciting as all hell over the last 4 weeks. As we get into deeper rounds of this tournament, it only promises to get better. None of these superstars are going to see this opportunity to etch their name in the annals of history as only the 3rd winner of the CWC. Nobody looking to see it slip through their fingers. We saw what this tournament did to one Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov, when he won the whole thing last year. Propelled him on to join the SmackDown brand, become Cruiserweight champion, and over the last year, Dragunov has become one of the faces of Thursday nights. All the 8 superstars that are left are looking for similar opportunities. This tilt-a-whirl takedown by Wesley moments ago. Able to kill the momentum of Javon, at least for now, but as Akira Tozawa found out a few weeks ago, cannot underestimate this young man. Signed to WWE at 19 years old, enters the CWC at 20. Javon Evans, all the promise in the world, but can he get the job done when the lights are on bright? And the moment is here. Wesley, so many ways to beat you inside of that ring. Loves to utilize strikes just as much as he loves to soar. As he goes to the top rope, Lee could be looking ahead skyward. Javon on spaghetti legs and gets taken down, dropped like a missile. It almost had this matchup in the bag, did Lee, but Evans is still alive. Said it once, we'll say it again. Do not underestimate the young OG. Every fiber of his being, he is going to leave inside those ropes on this Sunday afternoon in hopes to advance in the CWC. I believe that is the third time in this matchup that Wesley has hit that springboard stunner, relying on the basics. What the hell was that? My goodness! Senton, DDT, Evans dropped on his crown, but we ain't done just yet. Javon showing resilience, and there's Wes Lee getting set over the top rope. Nice sidestep. Lee went the distance with Axiom a few weeks ago. Was hoping to get this thing done, and there's a crash and burn by Javon. No water in the pool. Evans down and out at ringside. Wes Lee now looking to take advantage. Off the misstep from the young superstar. Javon lands on his feet. Gets sent back inside the ring. You see Evans dipping and dodging where he can, but Wes Lee is still in control. And Javon just got dropped. Super kick right on the button. Back to the top. Lee going for the corkscrew, but nobody home. The Cardiac Kid used that same maneuver to advance against Axiom several weeks ago. Evans had it scouted, and now Javon's coming alive. The young OG showing resilience here in the quarterfinal round. Wes Lee's got to be feeling the effects of colliding with the canvas moments ago. His body bouncing like it was on a trampoline, and now here's Javon Evans bringing the fight to the top rope. Falcon Arrow! And hustles up once more, right into the cover, only a 1 count. Midtown Manhattan is on fire as these two athletes are showing their athleticism, showing their agility, and leaving it all inside the ring. Evans, oh, Wes Lee thought he dipped. Evans got him in the second. Javon has got to find something to solidify momentum in this matchup, but once again, Wes Lee relying on what worked. That springboard stunner has been disastrous for Javon throughout this contest. Evans once again trying to fight back. Springboard of his own. Man, you could just feel the tension bubbling up between these two superstars as we enter deep waters in the quarterfinal round. They have not let off the gas since the opening bell. Mile a minute, these two going at it here in Midtown Manhattan. At some point, fatigue's got to set in. At some point, the tank's going to be running on E. How much do these two athletes got left? Nice takedown by Evans that time. He may have Wes Lee right where he wants him. You see the Cardiac Kid on spaghetti legs. Once again, he is being brought to the top rope, not by will, but by force. Evans' mind is clearly shifting gears. On top. This isn't gonna go well for Lee. Spanish fly. Into the pinfall. But we are not crossing the finish line yet. Lee survives off an incredible maneuver by the young OG. Did Wes Lee just catch Javon? Another kick out that time. And we have got ourselves a barn burner here in Midtown Manhattan. Evans now trying to create some distance. Javon realizing he has Wes Lee hurt. He may just need to sprinkle a little bit more salt in the wounds to get this job done. Crucifix bomb almost had him. If Javon was able to survive a former Cruiserweight champion, a 19-year veteran in Akira Tozawa several weeks ago, who's to say he can't keep down the Cardiac Kid, former NXT Tag Team Champion in Wes Lee? Nobody home off the axe hammer. Lee just backstepped. Goes around again. Javon trying to play catch up. Wes Lee finds his man and levels him. Javon been the aggressor the last few minutes. Wes Lee may be the one, feeling like he needs to cross the finish line now more than ever. Sense of urgency. Head scissors takedown. Javon crawled to the corner, but I think this match has told us anything. It has told us there is no running from this flying high-octane action. Double boots by the Cardiac Kid, and now some separation created by Javon. Oh, wow, look at the speed, especially this late in the matchup. You got to give credit where it's due. These men starting to go tit for tat with each other. Here's Javon catching Wes Lee right in the back with that moonsault. I don't think he got all that he wanted on that maneuver, but got enough to keep Lee down. Very similar to Wes Lee's corkscrew on Axiom several weeks ago. Just nailed it at the last second. Javon going to the top. Once again, Wes Lee is starting to stir. Oh, wait a minute. Javon getting the hell out of Dodge. Both guys going high octane. Nobody home in the delivery. At a stalemate here. Who's going to get the last laugh? It's Wes Lee. Javon looking like he's taking a nap, but waking up just in time. And we still got Nathan Frazier, a man whose moniker is to never slow down. One-on-one with one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions, Dragon Lee, who has had one hell of a month in the WWE. That is coming up in moments here in Midtown Manhattan. Who is going to advance and be the first to advance to the semifinal round? Will it be Javon? Will it be Wes? On top, going for that moonsault that delivered him victory a few weeks ago. Wes Lee had it scouted and now muscles Evans down with a very unique submission hold here. This armbar locked in, not something you'd expect Wes Lee to try to use to finish this matchup, but we saw him instituted against Axiom. Unfortunately for him, Evans did his homework and is gonna pass the upcoming test. Wes Lee with an overhead kick. Man, how many near falls are we gonna see in this contest? Javon back in the corner. You see fatigue written all over his body language. Wes Lee once again sizing his man in the corner. Pele kick. Good night. Game, set, match. Point Wes Lee. This one's over.
Here is your winner, Wes Lee!
Javon Evans was looking like a mannequin after Wes Lee delivered that Pele kick out of the corner. Knocking Javon's lights out just long enough to secure the 3 count. And Wes Lee becomes the first man to punch his ticket to the semifinal round. Wes Lee being a first-round knockout in last year's tournament, this has got to be oh so satisfying for the Cardiac Kid. The first to move on to the semis. Who will meet him there? It's Frazier. It's Dragon Lee. It's coming up next here in Midtown. Well, Javon Evans and Wes Lee laying the groundwork. Now it's time for Nathan Frazier and Dragon Lee to build the foundation. The quarterfinals of the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament continue right here, right now.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Jersey in the Channel Islands, weighing in at 182 pounds, Nathan Frazier.
Dare I say the most exciting victory of the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic. Nathan Frazier and TNA's Zachary Wentz may be stealing the entire first round of this tournament thus far. An incredible matchup on week 1 of the CWC last month. Nathan Frazier outlasting some of the most crazy maneuvers, to say the least, that we've ever seen inside of that ring and dishing out some of his own. The never slow down mantra of Frazier proved him right last month, but will it do so again? As Dragon Lee has only continued to gain momentum since his last outing here in Hammerstein.
And his opponent from Tala, Jalisco, Mexico, weighing in at 165 pounds, one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions,
Dragon Lee, of course, defeating the LWO's Cruz del Toro in the opening bout of the first round. Impressed so much that Rey Mysterio called upon this man to help him fight Angel and Berto 1 week later at the season premiere of SmackDown, winning the WWE Tag Team titles and moving on to the SmackDown brand in the process. Dragon Lee, a part of the Latino World Order, now repping those green, white, and red colors, but he has still got business to settle right here in Midtown Manhattan. He has advanced to the quarterfinals thus far, but can he make his way to the semis? It has been an awesome month for Dragon Lee, full of victories inside of that ring. Halloween Havoc, SmackDown, Bad Blood. Dragon Lee's been all over the place. Will his momentum continue or come crashing down? Javon Evans and Wesley putting on a clinic moments ago, but the quarterfinals of the CWC continue right here, right now. The never slow down mantra of Frazier, the tag team champion and Dragon Lee. We are underway. Dragon Lee, hot out of the gate, power bomb. Only a 1 count that time. Referee Chad Patton from Friday Night SmackDown, it should be Thursday Night SmackDown, calling the action between these two Blue Brand superstars. Nathan Frazier knows all about turning heads with his actions inside of that ring. A man who was representing NXT in last year's tournament may have come up short, in the semifinals, but impressed so much he was awarded a SmackDown contract afterwards. Frazier has had a couple opportunities at the Cruiserweight Championship. Him and Axiom challenged for the tag team titles earlier this year as well. Axiom may have been bounced in the first round, but Nathan Frazier's looking to go back to familiar territory and make his way to the semis just like he did last year. Frazier was knocked out of the 2023 installment of this tournament by a man who now resides on Monday Night Raw, that being Johnny Gargano. Frazier looking to make a different result in 2024 and go all the way to the finals. All remains to be seen if he'll be able to do so. Nathan Frazier, gotta wonder if he's got the advantage coming into this matchup as well. He has had all the time to prepare for Dragon Lee and focus on Dragon Lee. Lee, you could say, has had that same time, but Lee has taken up a lot of responsibilities over the last month. Jumping from NXT to SmackDown, joining the Latino World Order, winning the WWE Tag Team titles. Just last Saturday, he was a part of the Bad Blood kickoff show in a chaotic, to say the least, Tornado Tag Team matchup. Dragon Lee's focus has been elsewhere, all the while Nathan Frazier has been preparing for this matchup over the last 4 weeks. Is Frazier in the favorite column tonight? Dragon Lee muscling down Frazier momentarily. Nathan creating a little distance here. If there's one thing we know about Dragon Lee, he's more than willing to close that gap. Suicide dive. Man, Dragon Lee, such speed behind everything he does inside of that ring, especially in comparison to Nathan Frazier, a man who lives by the mantra of never slow down. This is going to be one fast-paced contest on this Sunday afternoon. Lee now over the top rope, taking down Frazier with a head scissors takedown. This is for the drop kick that time. Be a lot of action in this matchup. We will do our best to keep up with it. These guys are moving a mile a minute, just as Evans and Wesley did moments ago. Frazier now with a drop kick of his own. Wesley becoming the first man to punch his ticket to the semifinals of the CWC. He will be back right here at Hammerstein Ballroom in just 2 weeks' time. But who will be his opponent? Will it be one half of the tag team champions in Dragon Lee, or will it be Nathan Frazier? Right now, it looks like Nathan Frazier, as we mentioned, is the favorite. All that focus, all that preparation he has put into this matchup. Will it come back to benefit this young man? It's Dragon Lee now getting to his feet, but I don't think he knows what's coming. Wow, Nathan Frazier with a swanton bomb on a standing Dragon Lee. Talk about an innovative way to get your opponent looking up at the lights. Frazier picking up right where he left off against Zachary Wentz 4 weeks ago. Will to throw caution in the wind, get unique inside of that ring, do anything he can to take the expectations of his opponent, turn them on their head as once again he muscles down Dragon Lee. This has been an afternoon full of near falls, and I don't think we're done just yet. Dragon Lee proven to be a survivor. As we mentioned, took down Cruz del Toro in the first round of the CWC on September the 29th. Has now teamed up with Rey Mysterio in 2 successful outings against Angel and Berto. Also wins a singles victory at Halloween Havoc Night 1 for No Nation Gaming channel members against Andrade. Defeated Apollo Crews on SmackDown recently as well. Now one-on-one with Nathan Frazier. Has Dragon Lee focused? Has he prepared? Is he ready for the fight that Frazier is going to give him? German suplex by Lee. This one's not over yet. Dragon Lee certainly looking to be prepared. Withstanding some of that fury from Nathan Frazier, and now it looks like Lee is ready to go. Skyward here in Hammerstein. The Dragon's got that look. The Dragon's looking to fly and spew his fire. Nathan Frazier doesn't know what hit him. Dragon Lee, one half of the tag team champions, bringing this fight back between the ropes where he hopes to get the job done. Now there's a sidestep by Frazier. Gets caught in the corner. Overcommitted that time. Lee gonna make him pay. Snaps the arms into another German into the bridge. Only a 1 count. Referee Chad Patton gonna call this one right down the dotted line. Oh man, bicycle knee to the jawline. That is a signature maneuver out of the arsenal of LWO's newest member there. You want to talk about overcommitting. Lee might have had this matchup won, but continued to push the metal, and it only came back to bite him. What a corkscrew by Frazier. And Nathan Frazier is like a spark plug inside of that ring. Electricity will catch you within an instant. Dragon Lee using the ropes just to get to his feet. If that doesn't show you that fatigue is starting to set in, I don't know what will. Face first off the turnbuckle. Not the Sunday brunch that one half of the champs had in mind. Nathan Frazier starting to show some frustration. May only be a few minutes into this matchup, but these guys have expended loads of energy, and obviously it is starting to pay its toll. Off the Insaguri inside of that ring, Shining Wizard, whatever you want to call it. Oh, wait a minute, hold on there. Nathan Frazier overcommitting himself. I think he thought Dragon Lee was following him and realized that he wasn't. That is only going to come back to benefit Dragon Lee as he nails Frazier with a destroyer. One man's trash, another man's treasure. A misstep allows Dragon Lee to gain the momentum. Frazier thought Dragon Lee was right behind him, tried to explode out of the corner, only to meet the canvas, and now it's Dragon Lee who's back in control. At least momentarily as Frazier off the boot. Momentum going back and forth like a teeter-totter in this matchup. Another sidestep by Dragon Lee, goes behind, drop kick. Frazier gets caught up in the ropes momentarily. This has been a fight, the complete opposite of one-way traffic. These guys are like 2 demolition derbies going right at each other. A car wreck waiting to happen. Frazier hoisted on top. I don't know what Dragon Lee's got in mind, but it isn't going to go well. For Nathan Frazier, my goodness, you want to talk about a crash landing, look no further. Frazier rolling to the outside. Dragon Lee looking like, man, I would have had this matchup won if Frazier's instinct didn't kick in and he was rolling to the ringside to create some distance. Dragon trying to make up for lost time as he heads to the top, but he gave Frazier a moment of R&R. Dragon able to get out of the way. Runs at Frazier. Frazier gives him the stop. Does Nathan have one last spark plug to give? Any gear that Frazier can kick into, now is the time to do it. Dragon Lee has instituted some huge momentum over the last few minutes. Big time maneuvers. That German off the top really had to take a lot out of Frazier's heart and soul in this matchup. Another reversal that time by one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions as Dragon Lee drops it with a neck breaker. And just as much as it is instituting pain on your opponent, these high-octane, unforgiving maneuvers sometimes will take just as much out of you. And you see Dragon Lee, although has been majority in control for the last few minutes, slowing down himself. Now it's Nathan Frazier trying to do his damnedest to rev up the engines. Dragon Lee doesn't know what hit him, playing that game of cat and mouse, and it's Nathan Frazier who gets the last bite. Lee looking up at the lights. Frazier on top. Phoenix Splash on the button. Dragon Lee was in the drop zone. Nathan Frazier couldn't have nailed it any more perfectly. But this fight is not over yet. And this sold-out crowd here in Hammerstein Ballroom, the last people who are going to be complaining. Dragon Lee in the corner, maybe looking for Operation Dragon. Oh, well, wait a minute here. Dragon Lee wanted the pinfall, with referee Chad Patton calling it as is. Oh, you see some frustration out of Dragon Lee. Uncharacteristic to mouth off the referee Chad, but Frazier's feet underneath the bottom ropes. Nathan literally saved by the ropes that time. This one had to be over off Operation Dragon. And Dragon Lee, you see now, slow to capitalize. He thought that was it. He thought that was the exclamation point. It very well may have been, but lack of ring awareness ends up benefiting Nathan Frazier, and now Lee's got to try to think on his feet. Oh, man, second destroyer. Frazier might have been saved temporarily by the ropes, but it may just be delaying the inevitable at this point. You see how much has been taken out of Frazier. That Operation Dragon took him all the way down to E. But this matchup progresses nonetheless. Surviving, yes. Thriving, no. Frazier is in trouble. Dragon Lee wanted this match to be over with, but is now forced to continue as he sends Nathan Frazier back between the ropes. Springboard, my goodness, frog splash. Frazier is absolutely chopped liver inside of that ring. And Dragon Lee, a shark that smells blood in the water. And now it's over. Some ring awareness, delaying the inevitable it seemed, as Nathan Frazier was completely wiped after that Operation Dragon. Lee forced to rub some salt in the wounds, but he got the W nonetheless. Dragon Lee's momentum continues to be sky high, and he now joins Wes Lee in the semi-final round.
Here is your winner.
Well, there you see the updated bracket. We enter this afternoon with 8. We are down to 6. Dragon Lee and Wes Lee will meet each other 2 weeks from now, right back here in Midtown Manhattan. Chad Gable set to make the ring walk in Midtown Manhattan.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing in at 202 pounds, Chad Gable.
It was all or nothing for Chad Gable in the first round of the CWC several weeks ago. Gable was coming into this tournament on a bit of a losing streak on SmackDown, really ever since he fell short to Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship back in Minneapolis, his hometown, at Saturday night's main event in August. Gable found himself on a bit of a downward spiral, but able to turn his luck around, defeating Jonathan Gresham in the first round of the tournament just a few weeks back. Can he keep his momentum sky high? Can he turn away another TNA representative and a former X-Division champion in Frankie Kazarian? Dare I say, one of the greatest superstars to ever grace a TNA ring that is yet to hold a world championship. Kaz may have his day, but on this Sunday afternoon, all focus is on the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament.
And his opponent from California, weighing
Certainly keeping up a busy schedule between the CWC and TNA, but a veteran of the squared circle, SoCal-born Frankie Kazarian willing to do anything it takes to make an impact inside a WWE ring. The opportunity that lies ahead for the winner of the CWC. Of course, we got Tyler Bate participating later on this afternoon, defending his Cruiserweight Championship through each and any round of this tournament that he competes in. You gotta believe whoever wins this matchup is hoping and praying that Tyler Bate is gonna retain later this afternoon so they can get their opportunity at said Cruiserweight title. Well, that is jumping far ahead. We still have 2 bouts to go here in Midtown Manhattan, and it is anybody's ball game. Last week, we saw Dragon Lee and Wesley advance out of the quarterfinals and make their way to the semis next week. Who is going to join them? We start to find out. Chad Patton calling for the bell. This one is underway. Oh! Frankie Kazarian spinning heel kick right out of the get-go, but it knocked Chad Gable's lights out. Not just yet, but you got to commend the effort of the veteran. Frankie Kazarian has been in the ring with so many legendary superstars, many of which have graced a WWE ring. Look at names like AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, Christian Cage. I mean, the list goes on and on. Kaz has been in the ring with so many superstars that have graced this WWE ring before. But now getting his opportunity to make his own mark on this canvas over the last several weeks. And Kaz is looking to make the most of it. Springboard going high risk early, but Chad Gable had that leg drop scouted. Saw Kaz utilize those long limbs of his a couple of weeks ago against Joaquin Wilde. Several springboard maneuvers that helped him inevitably get the victory. Chad Gable, a student of the game, has obviously done his homework. Is not looking to fall short to this TNA veteran in Kaz. Chad Gable, a man who has been seeking championship gold and just seeking some sort of gold here in WWE, some sort of almost acknowledgement for all of his hard work over the last 12 months and change. Remember last year at the Cruiserweight Classic finale, we saw a non-tournament matchup between Chad Gable and Santos Escobar for the Cruiserweight Championship that night. Gable was unsuccessful. We've seen Alpha Academy challenge for the tag team titles earlier this year. Gable, as we mentioned, challenged for the United States Championship. But a lot of losses have really started to get into Chad Gable's mind. He is really starting to show a different side, a little bit more of an aggressive side. Was really the dictator of the pace in that matchup against Jonathan Gresham several weeks ago. And I'm sure Gable would love to ride that same wave here in Midtown tonight. Gable now going to the top. Damn near 3/4 of the way across the ring with that headbutt. Almost putting Kaz away early, but the veteran's still alive. That is what we're talking about. Chad Gable just peeling back and showing a new layer. This is what Gable had to do to break out of that slump that he was in on SmackDown. Starting to find new luck here in the Cruiserweight Classic. And Chad Gable as well has been making the ring walk throughout this tournament on his lonesome. We have not seen Otis. We have not seen Maxine Dupree. Gotta wonder where they lie as Chad Gable begins to refocus and resharpen his tool set. Is Gable focused on building the Alpha Academy, or is he becoming a more self-centered individual focused on his own success? Questions that remain answers as Frankie Kazarian looks to change the tides of this contest. Gable on the outside. He better not look up because I don't think he's going to like the incoming traffic. Suicide dive to the outside. Frankie Kazarian letting loose here in Manhattan, New York. Gable now set inside the ring. There's a springboard that does deliver. Frog splash to the lower back. And that is ingenious by Kazarian, not getting the victory that time, but what Kaz may have saw was an opportunity to weaken Gable, take out his strength. You take out that lower back, you maybe take it out a lot of the suplex variations that Chad Gable houses in his arsenal. All remains to be seen in due time as this matchup progresses if that frog splash moment ago will pay Kaz dividends, or will Chad Gable be able to start another rally? Obvious first time ever matchup between these two individuals. Gable off the double underhook powerbomb, dead center of the ring. Only going to be a 1 count. Just the man in the zebra stripes. That's referee Chad Patton from SmackDown. Frankie Kazarian getting set over the top rope. Nothing pretty about it. Well, hold on here. Kaz is on the outside. Gable's going to the top. Oh, wow! Springboard drop kick right to ringside. You want to talk about unshowing, peeling back the layers, and showing a new side? Look no further. Chad Gable is hell-bent on victory. Perched on the top rope, comes soaring down the ringside and delivers that drop kick right to the heart of Kaz. What Gable's got to do is not horse around with this audience. He's got to get Kazarian back inside the ring and get a 3 count here. Kaz trying to create some separation. Both men going for a shot. Frankie Kazarian may not have landed. What he did do is create enough separation to get back inside the ring. Now it's Kaz looking to find a way back into this matchup. Kaz has got some of that old school in him. Arn Anderson would have been hella proud of that spine buster. Off the knee, Chad Gable may be a bit rocked. Frankie Kazarian starting to see some daylight on the horizon after an onslaught by Gable at ringside. Oh, another drop kick. Kaz is eyeing up the corner a couple of times throughout this matchup, if you notice. Both times he's turned his back. Chad Gable has been right there to go on the attack. Look at the bridge by Gable. We talked about if that frog splash earlier on was going to affect the lower back, and clearly Chad Gable has got enough adrenaline and willpower to fight through it. Spanish fly, dead center of the canvas. And another kick out by Gable. How impressive by Kazarian. No need for the rope. Springs on his own feet and delivers one hell of a maneuver. Now going to the top. Goes for the leg drop again. But Gable just saw it coming. No water in the pool. A crash out by Kaz. Chad Gable drops him on his dome. Not a lot of sustained momentum. When you look up and down this matchup thus far, just goes to show you the homework that has been done by these two individuals. Having the last 2 weeks to scout their opponent obviously has paid them dividends. Chad Gable, how hungry he has been for championship gold, how hungry he has been for victory. Not looking to see Kaz play spoiler. And if this keeps up, Gable may be getting his hand raised. Double Germans. And he's going for the hat trick, not too far from the House of the Rangers. Dragging Frankie Kazarian away from the ropes. To ensure there won't be a rope break, Kaz forced to use any ounce of energy he had left to make sure this matchup kept going. Kaz rolled to the outside. Gable not looking to give him any R&R. Suicide dive of his own. Chad Gable extra aggressive. Unleashing maneuvers that we have not seen, whether it been some time or maybe not ever, out of the arsenal of Gable. Kaz right to the ring post. Chad Gable thought he had him off those hat tricks of Germans. But Frankie Kazarian showing why he is a well-respected veteran of this industry. A multiple-time over TNA X Division champion, TNA Tag Team champion. Dare I say one of the greatest wrestlers in that industry, in that company that has never held the World Championship. Series of strikes, Chad Gable looking dazed again. Face first, he goes! And the same maneuver that put away the LWO's Joaquin Wilde a few weeks ago, unfortunately, does not put Kaz past the finish line yet. Chad Gable getting caught. Oh, what's Kaz got in mind? Slingshot DDT. Right on the hardest part of the ring. Gable ever dazed. Kaz going for a springboard. Oh, miscalculated it there. That is the nature of the game, folks. They don't call it high risk, high reward for nothing. I don't know if Kaz slipped up at the last second, didn't get all the reach he needed off the ropes. Crashing and burning. Luckily, Chad Gable is still trying to get his wits about him. Neither man able to capitalize the current moment. Well, here comes Kaz making up for it. Again, showing you why he has earned his stripes inside of that ring. Tries to go for the leg drop. It has been his own detriment. Gable now with one more shot to rally as we start to get into the war of attrition, if you will. Overhead throw. Kaz, off the third misstep of the leg drop in this contest, finds himself looking up at the lights of Hammerstein Ballroom. Frankie Kazarian, own worst enemy when it comes to trying to deliver that leg drop multiple times over in this matchup. You gotta commend the effort. But Chad Gable has come with the answers to the test, and he's looking for an A+. Face first goes Kaz. This one's over. What a matchup here in Midtown.
Here is your winner, Chad Gable.
One hell of an effort by the TNA legend, no doubt about it, and Frankie Kazarian. But to the victor goes the spoils. Chad Gable entered the CWC looking to turn his momentum around. So far, so good. He advances to next week's semifinals. Who will meet him there? Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate. It's coming up in moments, live from Manhattan, New York.
And is for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship.
Talk about the opportunity that Tyler Bate has afforded every man who steps into the ring with him throughout this tournament. As long as he advances, that championship promises to continue to be on the line. But you are looking at the man who has beaten Tyler Bate before and has proven his worth as a champion here in the WWE. The Cruiserweight, Pete Dunne, has been on a tear on SmackDown, and it has bled right in to the CWC. You see in the credentials, a former Intercontinental Champion not once but twice, former World Tag Team Champion over a Monday Night Raw as well, and Pete Dunne. You want to talk about that history with Tyler Bate? He is the man that spoiled Tyler Bate's NXT United Kingdom Championship reign all the way back in 2017. You cannot look past the man they call the Cruiserweight on this Sunday afternoon. We saw the physical outing that not only in the punishment that he inflicted, but the pain he endured against Scottish Supernova Noam Dar just 2 weeks ago. Pete Dunne willing to travel any lengths, not looking to leave any stone unturned. He will go to hell and back if it means getting his hand raised and leaving with gold. But this man, ever since the month of July, has held that Cruiserweight Championship as proud as he can be. Over 100 days as the champion. And this is not the first time that Tyler Bate is putting that title on the line against Pete Dunne during this championship reign. These two men met a few months back on SmackDown in a contest that was spoiled by a man these two know very well in JD McDonough. Tyler Bate finally burying that story with JD just a few weeks ago, sending the Irish Devil not only out of this tournament, but to the back of the line of the Cruiserweight title division. But now Pete Dunne gets another opportunity, and you can't say he hasn't earned it. Defeating JD McDonough in a Falls Count Anywhere match last month on SmackDown. Now, of course, the victory, over Noam Dar 2 weeks ago. Now, one-on-one with Tyler Bate, just as these two men I'm sure would love. International superstars gracing these New York soils here in Midtown Manhattan. The first round is off the charts. The quarterfinals has met that energy. Who will score the final spot in the semifinal round next week? Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, the title's on the line. Let us send things down to the ring for Mike Rome and the match introductions.
Introducing the challenger from Birmingham, England, weighing in at 205 pounds, the Cruiserweight Pete Dunne. And his opponent from Dudley, England, weighing in at 175 pounds, the WWE Cruiserweight Champion, Tyler Bates.
Well, I am looking forward to this one, and so is this jam-packed audience here in the legendary Hammerstein Ballroom. Tyler Bate, gutsy as all hell, to put his championship on the line throughout this tournament. Now his second defense. Found luck against the Irish Ace. But will he find that same luck? Will lightning strike twice in the same spot? Now against Pete Dunne. Is your final quarterfinal bout. Who meets Chad Gable in the semifinals? The bell has sounded and we are underway to finding out. Senior referee Charles Robinson set to officiate this contest between two men who I'm sure have a great respect for each other in Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. When that bell sounds, you don't need to tell these two that it's time to hold no punches. They know exactly what they got to do to get victory on this Sunday afternoon and try to advance in the CWC. We have talked about in great lengths what this tournament did for Ilya Dragunov winning it last year. Winning this tournament propelled him on to become a member of the SmackDown brand, and 12 months later we look at the Mad Dragon as one of the faces of Thursday nights. Could that be waiting for one of the men who is still left in this tournament to be in the bright lights of World Wrestling Entertainment? Certainly Tyler Bate, already a champion in his own right. He's going to continue to be a fighting champion and prove himself worthy of the gold, but Pete Dunne all over the big strong boy and trying to slow him down in the early moments. Pete Dunne obviously loves to break things down to a brawl, loves to really tear apart his opponent bone by bone, rip apart the flesh if he needs to. Pete Dunne absolutely a brutalizer inside of that ring, and those are the maneuvers that Tyler Bate is going to have to rely on this Sunday afternoon to try to get through his opponent. Wow, explosiveness from the champion, follows it up with a shooting star. Tyler Bate, ever impressive, showing why he was able to not only win the gold all the way back in London, England, in the month of July at Money in the Bank, but retain it ever since. Oh, Pete Dunne not giving Midtown Manhattan the satisfactory of perfect 10 shots to the turnbuckle. Pete's gonna get his satisfactory another way. That's incapacitating his man he respects in Tyler Bate. And respect goes out the window when the bell sounds, and Pete Dunne will stop at nothing to be a champion once again here in the WWE. So far, we know that one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions in Dragon Lee will meet Wesley in one semifinal matchup next Sunday. Who awaits Chad Gable, who was just victorious in a hell of a bout against TNA's Frankie Kazarian? It will be one of these two superstars, whether it's the current champion in Tyler Bate or what could be the new Cruiserweight champion in Pete Dunne. Gotta wonder if Pete Dunne will have the same courage and guts to put the championship on the line. Obviously a decision made by the champion if he can win this matchup. Pete Dunne just using his surroundings to his advantage at the moment. Now sends Tyler Bate back inside the ring. The interesting thing about this contest is Pete Dunne needs to get the job done between the ropes if he not only wants to advance but wants to win the Cruiserweight title. Certainly stacks the odds against Tyler Bate, and Tyler Bate, nice reversal that time. Whatever Pete Dunne saw, Tyler Bate saw it coming first. Once again, the big strong boy pulls him right back in. Nice head scissors takedown. Talked about Pete Dunne spoiling Tyler Bate's reign as the NXT United Kingdom champion all the way back in 2017. Once again, we are in a similar position as Pete Dunne is the challenger and Bate is the champion. Sunset flip, Tyler going for the pinfall. Not over yet, dead center of the ring, however. Great ring positioning away from the ropes. Pete Dunne forced to extend some energy to kick out and survive, and there's Tyler Bate showing why he has earned his nickname as the big strong boy. Off the German suplex, it up with a Saito. Pete Dunne dropped right on his dome. And now the Cruiserweight champion is starting to feel it. Now he's getting his mojo back after an early onslaught from the Bruiserweight. Pete Dunne on spaghetti legs. Tyler Bate not rushing. This is champion instincts right here. Off the middle buckle and delivers one hell of an uppercut. Patience by Tyler Bate that time proves to be a benefactor as now Pete Dunne trying to turn the tides of this matchup. Tyler Bate sent to the corner, not by will but by force of the challenger. And again, this is where Pete Dunne thrives, slowing down the matchup. Throwing fists, throwing kicks, using his exposed knees, using these surroundings to his advantage. Anything to bone by bone pick apart his opponent. Almost scored the pinfall that time off the powerbomb, slingshotted out of the corner. Ever impressive by a man who knows a thing or two about holding gold. Tyler Bate getting sent inside out. And there's a kick out. The big strong boy still alive. Pete Dunne, you saw a sign of desperation it seemed in his facial expression. Trying to put the exclamation point on this matchup, but Tyler Bate saw it coming from a mile away. Who says Pete Dunne's the only one who could throw some closed fists? Tyler Bate ain't afraid of an old school fight. And now sending Dunne right to the post, excuse us. Tyler Bate proven to be resilient once more, but does he have enough left in the tank to retain his Cruiserweight Championship? This has been a physical matchup thus far. Pete Dunne may be rocked off that series of strikes. He's got to get his wits about him now or never. Because Tyler Bate's wheels are a-spinning, and he's going soaring like Spider-Man here in Manhattan. Tyler Bate, never been afraid to put his own body in harm's way in the means of success. And Tyler's showing anything you can do, I can do better. You want to use your surroundings to try to beat me down. Tyler Bate looking to beat Pete Dunne in his own game. Off the barricade, and now Acai moonsault to the outside. Tyler Bate is feeling it here in Midtown. Just when you thought that Pete Dunne had taken the wind out of his sails, the big strong boy rises like a phoenix and shows why he has been the Cruiserweight champion since the month of July. Down and out is the Bruiserweight as we take this fight back inside the ring. Senior referee Charles Robinson from SmackDown calling the action. The title is on the line. Pete Dunne starting to unload. This is the only way he knows how to get back into the line of fire. And that starts swinging. There is a reason that Dunne is a former NXT United Kingdom champion and tag team champion as well. Two-time Intercontinental champion. Pete Dunne as physical as they come. One of the roughest and the toughest in the entire WWE locker room. Tyler Bate already knew it. Now he's getting reminded of it. Tyler Bate looking worse for wear at the flip of a coin. Axe hammer, which has got to feel like a ton of bricks this late into the matchup. And there's nothing pretty about the offense that Pete Dunne is dishing out. It is simply effective. See Tyler Bate, almost an unenthusiastic kick out that time. Obviously expended a lot of energy a few moments ago with that dive to the outside, the moonsault that followed, but there's Tyler Bate shifting into a different gear. Maybe he's got something left. Oh no, Pete Dunne in a fireman's carry position. We have seen this trick pulled out of the hat before by the Cruiserweight champion. Around and around we go. Pete Dunne's gonna be feeling a little bit dizzy when he gets out of this. Down to the canvas. Bate feeling the effects, but realizes he's got to capitalize. Pete Dunne still in this matchup. A kick out that time by the challenger. And what a contest we have between these two familiar foes in Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. International talents on American soil, fighting for one of the richest prizes in the WWE. And of course, the quarterfinal round of the CWC continues right here in this matchup. Who will meet Chad Gable next week in the semis? Oh no, perched on the top was Pete Dunne, but now he's hoisted in the air and all the blood is rushing to the dome. What a suplex! Delayed vertical by the champ. Manhattan coming unglued. Pete Dunne looking up at the lights of Hammerstein. Tyler Bate dropping a high elevation knee. But still, we are not done yet. No conclusion to be found. Pete Dunne will not be denied. Pete Dunne has really re-come into his own over the last few months. Started building momentum for himself on SmackDown. It bled into the first round of the CWC with a victory over Noam Dar. He is not looking to see all that hard work go up in smoke. Just when you thought Dunne was down and out. Now it's the Cruiserweight who finds himself in the driver's seat. Snap in the arms of Tyler. And right there says all that we can about Pete Dunne's offense. Down and gritty. Another shot right to the shoulder blades, to the neck area. And now goes into the cover. Realizes Tyler may be beat. But Pete Dunne, as much as that offense is absolutely grueling to deal with, he is going to need to find an exclamation point to put on this matchup. Hold on here, Tyler, nowhere to run. Slingshot by the Cruiserweight. Tyler Bate in trouble as Pete Dunne is trying to find any answer to keep down a man who has held the Cruiserweight Championship for over 100 days. On the outside of the ring, power bomb at ringside. That is gonna hurt like hell. Tyler's gonna need some ice after this contest. Pete Dunne not done just yet. Enziguri. Dunne has had no problem wrestling some of this matchup on the outskirts. But again, as we mentioned earlier on, he's got to get it done inside of the ring, in between the ropes, if he not only wants to advance, but wants to win the Cruiserweight Championship. Tyler with enough wherewithal to create some separation, and now it's the champion who brings this fight back between the ropes. Pete Dunne approaches, and Tyler Bate, sense of urgency that time, hanging the Cruiserweight up in the top. There's a springboard, nice maneuver. Tyler just trying to find anything to keep Pete Dunne off his back for a few moments so he can recalibrate. Vintage Bate that time. Pete Dunne sent to the ropes. Tyler Bate once again showing why he's the big strong boy, and once again showing why he is the champion today. Resilient as all hell. Pete Dunne has instituted some absolutely beat down, break it down, brutal offense throughout this matchup, and somehow Tyler Bate has continued to find a way to survive. But will he continue to thrive? Look to be going for another sunset flip. Does not elect for the pinfall this time. Well, wait a minute here. Tyler could have just been using that maneuver to reposition Pete Dunne. Ingenious as he sets up the Cruiserweight for the Tyler driver. 97 and finds victory dead center of the canvas. Tyler Bate, damn near a veteran move that time, leaning on the sunset flip out of the corner to reposition the Cruiserweight away from the ropes and deliver his exclamation point, the Tyler driver, to retain the title and move on in this oh-so-great tournament.
Here's your winner, and still the WWE Cruiserweight Champion, Tyler Bate.
What a matchup between these two familiar foes as Tyler Bate once again holds his championship in his hands.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Tala, Jalisco, Mexico, weighing in at 165 pounds, one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions,
Well, I'll tell you, win, lose, or draw, this tournament has already done wonders for that man, Dragon Lee. An impressive performance in the first round over Cruz del Toro is what propelled him to an opportunity on SmackDown where he aligned with the LWO, and most importantly Rey Mysterio, and of course capturing the WWE Tag Team titles. Well, those titles going to be on the line this coming Thursday as the LWO defends against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller on SmackDown. But Dragon Lee has got to keep his mind on the action at hand. Right here in Midtown Manhattan, he has defeated Cruz del Toro, Nathan Frazier in the quarterfinals. Now, up against Wes Lee, who has had some of the most hard-fought battles of this tournament thus far. Who is going to advance to next week's finale? Will it be Dragon or will it be Wes? No matter the result, it promises to be yet another exciting bout in the midst of the Cruiserweight Classic.
and his opponent from Dayton, Ohio, weighing in at 183 pounds,
Wes Lee, a resilient performance over Axiom in the first round, even drew some blood in that contest, the only man to do so in this tournament, and then turned away NXT's young OG and Javon Evans in the quarterfinals. Wes Lee, a man who has had championship opportunities over the last 2 years since his main roster career, but has just yet to break through that glass ceiling. And how do you think Wes Lee is feeling? A first-round knockout in last year's tournament, now making it all the way to the semifinals. Certainly high energy and high pressure in the middle of Hammerstein Ballroom on your 7th week of the Cruiserweight Classic. The winner of this matchup has got a first-class ticket right back here next Sunday at the finale of the CWC. Dragon Lee, Wes Lee, first of 2 semifinal bouts this Sunday afternoon. Referee Chad Patton calls for the bell. We are underway, and Wes Lee hot out of the gate. And remember what happened this past Wednesday on Velocity, exclusively on TikTok. The LWO with a huge victory over Wes Lee and TNA Wrestling's Zachary Wentz in that tag team bout. Momentum may be on the side of Dragon Lee. However, it's Wes Lee who's looking to expend some energy in the early going and set the pace. You also got to imagine that the confidence of Lee, that being Wes Lee, may be rocked after that tag team loss this past Wednesday on Velocity. Maybe a reason why Wes Lee is so aggressive in these early moments. It has been one-way traffic since the opening bell. Dragon Lee hoisted up. Wes Lee, look at the head scissors. Wes Lee exploding onto the scene here in your November 10th edition of the Cruiserweight Classic. Kick right off the mask, and Dragon gonna get the shoulder up. Dragon Lee has seen so much action over the last month since his Cruiserweight Classic first round outing. From his days in NXT all the way to exploding on the scene, joining the SmackDown roster, becoming one half of the WWE Tag Team Champion, Dragon Lee has been all over the map over the last month. Now it's just as we mentioned, got to keep his eyes, keep his focus on the task at hand this Sunday afternoon. This Cruiserweight Classic is what has brought Dragon Lee to the dance over the last month and change. But he's not looking to get turned away in the semifinal. Dragon Lee looking to make it all the way to the finale next week. Get his hand raised high as the 2024 Cruiserweight Classic winner as he drops Wes Lee right in his dome. Dragon Lee looking to play catch-up after an early onslaught by the Cardiac Kid. Dragon sending Wes back inside the squared circle. I'm sure both of these men looking to get the job done between the ropes on this Sunday afternoon. Dragon Lee taking his time, measuring his man, but what comes at a cost there as he allows Wes Lee some R&R, and there you see Wes making the most advantage. Dragon Lee just might have been trying to get some R&R on the outside of the ring. Comes back to bite him. And now it's Wes sending one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions emphatically to the outside. Wes Lee's wheels are a-spinning, and he's going skyward here in Midtown. My goodness. Week after week, this Hammerstein Ballroom, Manhattan, New York audience continues to be on their feet with the chants of "This is awesome," and that is exactly what this contest has been thus far. Dragon Lee, almost a sense of urgency here. After Wes Lee was bringing the pressure, taking things to the air, another man draped in blue tonight, unloading on Wes Lee with a number of strikes and follows it up with an elbow. Dragon Lee super proud of his newer colors in the Latino World Order. One half of the WWE Tag Team Champions alongside the Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio. And again, they are just days ahead of a tag team title defense against A-Town Down Under in the final SmackDown before Survivor Series. Dragon Lee, however, just trying to get through this obstacle in Wes Lee on this Sunday afternoon. Already has defeated Cruz del Toro in the first round, an exciting outing against Nathan Frazier in the quarters. Now Dragon Lee back in action here against the man who has turned away Axiom and Javon Evans. Now look at Dragon Lee in the corner, series of strikes, and follows it up, or I should say puts the cherry on top of those strikes with a pair of boots right to the chest. It's enough to knock the wind out of you. Man, Dragon is really relying on those strikes throughout this matchup. He has unloaded on Wes numerous times since the opening bell. Wes Lee really struggling to find an answer here. So now he finds himself in a fireman's carry position and dropped right on Dragon's knee. Gotta say, one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions has done a hell of a job closing the gap. And now, a rare submission hold out of the arsenal of a man who has been dubbed the future of Lucha Libre. Cranking on Wes Lee's arms, putting a knee right into his lower back. Oh, there's Lee, using some momentum there, a little bit of agility to roll out of the submission hold, and Dragon just gets dropped up against the buckles. Rolling forearm. Wes Lee now is seemingly the one trying to make the comeback, springboard, and a stunner for his troubles. Wes Lee really relied on that springboard maneuver against Javon Evans in the quarterfinal round. Now looking for it to be what starts to rally a comeback, but Dragon Lee's got other plans. Dragon takes down Wes once more, and Dragon with a kick. Soccer one, if you will. Just when you thought Wes was about to start rallying here in Midtown Manhattan, Dragon Lee takes the rug out from underneath his feet. Wes Lee expended a lot of energy in the early part of this matchup and has really slowed down as Dragon Lee is in the corner, primed and ready to strike. Operation Dragon. Will that do it? Not just yet. Wes Lee gets the shoulder up. Midtown Manhattan, loud and proud. There has not been a lot of near falls in this contest, but Wes Lee surviving that Operation Dragon. One of LWO's members' best maneuvers survived, did Wes Lee, and now the Cardiac Kid gonna try to find a way to rally. Now or never, you gotta believe a lot of offense was taken out. Off the sidestep that time, Wes Lee once again looking up at the lights of Hammerstein, and Dragon Lee right to the abdominal with a frog splash of his own. Shooting star press. And Wes again momentarily looked like he was taking a nap on the canvas, but wakes up just at the last second. What a contest we have on hand as the LWO's Dragon Lee looks to find an answer as to what is going to keep down the Cardiac Kid. As we mentioned earlier, Wes Lee, a first-round knockout in last year's tournament. Not looking to make it all the way to the semis, just to be turned away again by a man who has really exploded on the scene in WWE over the last month and change. Again, you see Dragon Lee realizes he is close to the finish line, but just cannot find an answer. Now perched on top, leveling his man. Wait a minute, Lee counters, sit-out powerbomb. And West going for the cover. Dragon gonna get the shoulder up, but a last-ditch effort. What a reversal there by Wesley. Might not have gotten the 3 count, but that's exactly what West needed to turn the tides of momentum in this matchup after some great offense by Dragon Lee. And now on top, West takes him down. Extraordinary maneuver. West isn't done. Destroyer. Dropping Dragon right on his mask. Dragon Lee kicks out. Wesley shaking his head in disbelief. Dragon now is the one struggling to get to his feet. Wesley relying on some high octane, high flying offense here. Nice springboard. Executed to perfection. Now it's Dragon Lee who's looking up at the lights. Who is going to make their way to the finals of this tournament next Sunday afternoon to either meet Chad Gable or Tyler Bate. Wesley may not have gotten the 3 count over the last minute or so, but he is certainly starting to stack some offense. Dragon in the corner. West, full head of steam. Pair of knees for Dragon's troubles. And West isn't done. The Cardiac Kid going high risk. High reward as the corkscrew lands flush. Wesley is going to the Cruiserweight Classic finale. From first round knockout to a finals appearance incoming, Wesley surviving Dragon Lee's best offense and outlast him in the semifinal round. What an incredible performance from the Cardiac Kid.
Here is your winner, Wesley.
Take nothing away from Dragon Lee. This tournament really did him wonders and gave him a spot on the SmackDown brand. But tonight, the victor goes the spoils, and Wesley is the man who advances to next week's Cruiserweight Classic finale. The Cardiac Kid now awaits Chad Gable or Tyler Bate in the tournament finals in just 7 nights. We will find out in moments who meets Wesley on the other side. Will it be Gable? Will it be Bate? We're finding out coming up soon here at the CWC.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship.
Well, it is time for our second of 2 semifinal matches in the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament. Wesley meets the winner of this upcoming bout next Sunday afternoon in the CWC finale. Chad Gable. For a while, we have called this man the head of Alpha Academy, but something's been different about Gable throughout this tournament. Riding solo, extra aggression inside of his matches, and a little bit of displeasure shown by this audience. Chad Gable clearly not worried about Otis, not worried about Maxine Dupree, dare I say not worried about this capacity crowd in Hammerstein Ballroom, sarcastically walks to the ring with confidence. Chad Gable believing in himself, believing he has what it takes to finally win a singles championship here in WWE and advance to the CWC finals in the process. Defeating TNA Wrestling's Jonathan Gresham in the first round, as well as TNA's Frankie Kazarian in the quarters. Now, one-on-one of the SmackDown star. For over 100 days, since Money in the Bank in July, the big strong boy Tyler Bate has held on to his Cruiserweight Championship of the world. Tyler Bate, before this tournament began, promised to put his title on the line through each and any round he would participate in the CWC. So far, he has advanced against JD McDonough in the first round. He has kept down Pete Dunne in the quarters. Now, once again, Tyler Bate keeps good on his promise and puts his Cruiserweight title on the line against Chad Gable. You gotta wonder if Chad Gable is victorious here on this Sunday afternoon, if he will give Wes Lee the same opportunity he is being afforded today. All remains to be seen. First, Chad Gable has got to find out a recipe to keep down the big strong boy Tyler Bate. But when that gold has been on the line over the last few months, Bate has wrestled to perfection. Even when you think you got him down, he finds a way to rise again and proclaim that championship on the back half of the bell. Let us send things down to the ring to Mike Rome for your official Cruiserweight Championship match introductions.
Introducing the challenger from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing in at 202 pounds, Chad Gable. And his opponent from Dudley, England, weighing in at 175 pounds, the WWE Cruiserweight Champion, Tyler Bate.
Chad Gable looking laser focused, Tyler Bate ready for action as he gets set to hand over the Cruiserweight Championship for what very well may be the last time in this championship reign. Senior referee Charles Robinson not only calling this semifinal action, but set to call the contest for the gold as Chad Gable goes one-on-one with Tyler Bate for the highest honor in the Cruiserweight division. It is a semifinal match in the CWC. The winner meets Wes Lee in the tournament finals next Sunday afternoon right back here in Midtown Manhattan. The bell has sounded. We are underway. Should be very interesting to see who is going to be the aggressor in the early moments. Tyler Bate usually has the strength advantage over his opponents, but Chad Gable, no slouch inside of that ring. Very interesting to see if these two men go hold for hold, strike for strike, or try to throw each other off their game plan. See Gable going for the early pinfall off the crucifix bomb. Tyler Bate lands on his feet. Bate off the springboard, found himself right there, took advantage of it. Tyler Bate not afraid to soar through the skies. We have seen that in his title defenses against JD McDonough as well as Pete Dunne. Chad Gable has really been a suplex machine throughout his tournament and has really scouted his opponents. Great reversals by Gable if you go back against his matchup against Jonathan Gresham and especially his matchup against Frankie Kazarian. Gable been a student of the game. Will it come back to once again benefit him as he takes on Tyler Bate for not only a spot in next week's finals but for the gold once again into a bridge. Gable going for the early pinfalls, trying to maybe either catch Tyler Bate off his game and sneak a pinfall, sneak a victory, or possibly just force Tyler Bate to expend some energy. Another bridge by Gable off a suplex. Not to be surprised, Chad Gable sending Tyler Bate to the corner this time, and I'll stomp it away on the big strong boy. Chad Gable, you hear a little bit of displeasure. If you really open your ears and listen to the Hammerstein Ballroom audience, Gable's aggression, maybe a little bit sarcasm at times, may have turned a lot of the fans off in recent weeks, but Gable, I think, does not give a damn. Chad Gable has been in hot pursuit of championship gold for quite some time on SmackDown. He finally finds himself in yet another position to obtain it. Gotta believe Gable is gonna leave no stone unturned on this Sunday afternoon. Brings Tyler Bate back into the ring, not by will, but by force. Off the tope suicida to the outside. Now just wrestling Bate down to the canvas. Tyler, no answer for the challenger. Remember last year at the Cruiserweight Classic finale, Chad Gable took on Santos Escobar during his third reign of the Cruiserweight Championship. Santos Escobar the victor on that occasion. It was another upset, heartbreak loss for Chad Gable in his pursuit of championship gold. Nearly 12 months later, here's Chad Gable once again back into the line of fire. So far, he's looking pretty good against the big strong boy Tyler Bate. And Tyler Bate being dead weighted, belly-to-belly suplex over the top rope. Tyler Bate may be out. And there you see Gable, not going to hesitate, go to the outside, and I'm sure trying to get Tyler back into the ring. Gable could easily advance to the Cruiserweight Classic Finals off a countout or even disqualification in this matchup, but he cannot win the Cruiserweight Championship. Gable on top, going for the diving headbutt, and he just, at the last second, connects. Tyler in trouble. Count at 2, referee Charles Robinson right there. Tyler Bate with enough strength to get his shoulder off the canvas. Drop kick to Gable. Another one. Tyler Bate starting to rally here, realizing that offense has been stacked maneuver after maneuver. Shooting star by the champ. Quick kick out that time. Gable not even allowing him the pleasure of getting a 1. Chad Gable has came all this way. He is not looking to get turned away by a man who has been oh so impressive over the last few months. Tyler Bate, there's a reason why he sits atop the Cruiserweight division. There's a reason why he has been champion for over 100 days on SmackDown. Off the top of the high elevation knee and adds an elbow for some salt in the wound. All of a sudden, the tides have changed in this matchup. Well, just when you think they are. There's Chad Gable sidestepping the champion, that bare knee. Tyler Bate right off the canvas. Now Gable once again into the suplex, into the bridge. All the pressure cradling up Tyler Bate, but again the champion survives. Oh man, and now Gable muscling up Tyler. This is how he defeated Frankie Kazarian in the quarters. Face first, off the canvas. But Tyler Bate once again showing his resilience. And frustration written all over the body language of today's challenger in Alpha Academy's Chad Gable. Maybe we shouldn't even say Alpha Academy's Chad Gable. Who knows what the status of that unit is, as Gable's really distanced himself in recent weeks. Nonetheless, Tyler Bate able to survive and try to get back into this matchup off the exploder. Obviously a sense of urgency out of Tyler Bate after Gable has done a number on the big strong boy. Now or never for Tyler Bate to try to play catch up here, as he's got Gable in a fireman's carry position and taking him around and around we go. Tyler Bate might be feeling fatigued, but Chad Gable certainly is after this maneuver. Little bit on balance here. Gable down off the shoulders. Tyler Bate, opportunity knocks into the cover. Tained his title and punched his ticket to next week. But Chad Gable again, you want to talk about resilient, Gable's showing his. Now Tyler Bate is just going to try to find a way to once again play catch up. Take it outside of Chad Gable that he hasn't yet. Off a suplex of his own, Tyler going for a corkscrew. Chad Gable getting out of the way. No water in the pool. Now Tyler Bate on top. Chad Gable surviving at the last second and has got Bate in prime position for a belly-to-belly suplex. Tyler Bate looking up at the lights. Gable going high. Drops the elbow right to the heart, possibly the soul and the dreams. But the champion still with something left in the tank. Tyler Bate taking a couple of hard falls back to back. Nobody home off the corkscrew. Follow that up with the belly-to-belly. Now Chad Gable, once again, although he may not have gotten the victory, has found himself back in the driver's seat. Tyler Bate is looking worse for wear on the outside of the ring, rest assured. Now Gable again. And Chad Gable just proven to be, dare I say, a cardio machine in this matchup. Looking damn well fresh as a daisy. Just goes to show you the preparation that Chad Gable has put into this matchup as he sends Tyler into the corner. The champion may be in trouble. Oh, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. Gable going for a little chaos theory. Tyler is still alive. Gable has instituted the maneuvers. As this capacity crowd comes unglued, Chad Gable has instituted the maneuvers that brought him this far in the tournament. He used that chaos theory to defeat Jonathan Gresham. He used that face plant off the shoulders to take down Frankie Kazarian in the quarters. But neither maneuver keeps down the big strong boy. Tyler Bate, the reigning, defending champ, headed back to the top, but again, Gable will not be denied. If Tyler Bate finds a way to get back into this matchup, it is going to be an oh-so-resilient and gutsy performance. But there's Chad Gable, cradling him up for a pinfall once more. Tyler Bate has got to find a way to get back into this. It is now or never. Gable may not have gotten the victory, but he's got to smell it like a shark and smells blood in the water. Tyler Bate dragging Gable off the ropes out of the corner. Oh man, mean uppercut. Nothing fancy about it. Another springboard. And Tyler Bate delivers that knee that he missed earlier. Risky decision, goes for it twice and it lands twice. Chad Gable showing signs of fatigue as he is down on the canvas. And Tyler Bate once again comes off the top of the high elevation knee. You notice Tyler is not going anything fancy. He is sticking to the game plan, sticking with what works, sticking with what brought him to the dance. Chad Gable backed up into a corner. Will he be able to start swinging, or is Tyler Bate in firm control? Oh man, this is not what Gable could have hoped for. Once again, getting taken around and around the globe. Gable's gonna be seeing stars, and he may be seeing a kick right out of this tournament if Tyler Bate has his way. Into the pitfall. Gable gets the shoulder up. 2.9, Tyler Bate looking shocked. But Gable unable to get to his feet. Tyler's on top. Corkscrew delivered. It worked out for Wesley. Tyler hits the same maneuver, and we got ourselves a tournament final.
Here's your winner, and still the WWE Cruiserweight Champion, Tyler Bate.
There you see the updated bracket. We started with 16. We are down to 2. Wesley will meet Tyler Bate next Sunday afternoon in the 2024 Cruiserweight Classic Tournament Finals, and of course, the Cruiserweight Championship of the World will be on the line.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship.
It is time to decide the winner of the 2024 Cruiserweight Classic Tournament. All the marbles are at stake. Not only the chance to etch your name in the annals of history as only the 3rd ever winner of this tournament, but of course the Cruiserweight Championship is also on the line. The Cardiac Kid, Wesley, defeating Axiom, defeating Javon Evans, and taking down Dragon Lee to march his way to the finals on this Sunday afternoon. An impressive road by Wesley. Many talk about that opening round contest against Axiom as the hardest fought battle in this tournament thus far for any respective participant of the entire field. Wesley certainly earning his spot in this afternoon's CWC finale, but can he keep down a man who has been wrestling at the top of his game not only throughout this tournament, but since the month of July when he won the Cruiserweight Championship of the World? All questions we remain answers to as the big strong boy makes his way down the aisle. Tyler Bate taking down J.D. McDonough, Pete Dunne, and Chad Gable on his journey throughout this tournament thus far. Remember, before the tournament began, Tyler Bate made a proclamation that not only he was going to enter, but that he was going to defend his Cruiserweight Championship through each and any round he was lucky enough to participate in. And to the benefit of everybody Tyler Bate has fought against in this tournament, Tyler has continued to move to the next round. But tonight, it is here. It's the finals. It's one more championship defense for Tyler Bate. And if he's successful, man, Tyler's going to put himself not only in the annals of history, but in the record books as one of the greatest Cruiserweight champions, dare I say, of all time. Winning that title back in July, retaining it throughout the tournament, can he turn away one more challenge against a game cardiac kid in Wesley? We saw what this tournament did last year for one Ilya Dragunov. He's become one of the faces of Thursday Night SmackDown. That is similar to what Tyler Bate and Wesley are scratching and clawing for in this CWC finale.
Introducing the challenger from Dayton, Ohio, weighing in at 183 pounds, Wesley. And his opponent from Dudley, England, weighing in at 175 pounds, the WWE Cruiserweight Champion, Tyler Bate.
Both these men looking ready and raring to go, as Tyler Bate, who has held that Cruiserweight Championship since Money in the Bank in London, England, all the way back in July, hands it over for what could be the very last time. Wesley glaring at what could be his new prize. Tyler Bate not going to give Wesley an easy round, not going to give Wesley an easy fight. If Lee wants this golden opportunity and wants to be the winner of this tournament, he is going to have to pry it from Tyler Bate's cold hands as we are underway with the Cruiserweight Classic Tournament Final. Talked about the journey that these two men have gone through to earn their way to the finals on this Sunday afternoon. And now with Tyler's championship on the line as well, the stakes could not be any higher. Wesley gonna need to rely on his speed and agility. Tyler Bate also houses plenty of that, but of course the strength gonna be the X factor for the champion in this matchup. Should be a very interesting contest here. Two men who stand similarly, very eye to eye. Should be very interesting to see who's gonna get the momentum in the early part of this matchup. As ever since the opening bell about a minute ago, there's just been a lot of back and forth action between Lee and Bate. There's Wesley charging up and taking down Tyler with a very similar uppercut. We've seen Tyler Bate exploit in that ring, and there's a ripcord knee by the challenger to the title. Wesley has fought long and hard. He has had Cruiserweight Championship opportunities in the past, but never have they gone his way. Maybe today is where it all turns around. Double stomp from the top. Wesley, pedal to the metal. Not gonna get the victory just yet, but he nearly took the wind out of Bate. Man, you remember last year in this Cruiserweight Classic tournament, Wesley was knocked out, bounced in the first round of it all. And now to fight back in 2024 and make it all the way to the finals. Wesley on the verge of not only being the cardiac kid, but the comeback one as well. Not if Tyler Bate's got anything to say about it. Sends him flying into the ropes and brings him right down to the canvas with an emphatic German. And now just gonna try to unscrew anything in the mind of Wesley, kill the confidence. Bouncing his head off the buckle. Not once, not twice, all the way to the count of 10. There's Wesley sending Tyler to the ropes. Shouldn't have took too long to capitalize. Tilt-a-whirl DDT. This is going to be a great athletic contest. Both of these men house so much incredible ability inside of that ring. We may be in for a war of attrition. There's afternoons like this, contests and matches inside of the ring, where you certainly empty the tank, let adrenaline fuel you, push past your limits. Tyler Bate in trouble, getting dropped with a DDT on the apron. Wes Lee has taken firm control of this contest. Great series of maneuvers, and now Bate, it's got to be dazed, it's got to be a little confused after getting dropped right in the hardest part of the ring. Wes Lee on the outside, not going to capitalize here. A little bit slow too. Tyler Bate sends him into the ropes and takes him down with a drop kick. Tyler Bate may be feeling a little sense of urgency, although we are early into this contest, not looking to allow Wes Lee to be the dictator of the pace. Massive knee, exposed knee, of course, by the big, strong boy. Maybe knocking Wes Lee down to size and not turning this thing into a race to the finish line and more of a marathon instead of a sprint. Might be Tyler Bates' best idea against the Cardiac Kid as he sends Wes Lee over the top rope. Here comes the champion. Fosbury flop, what a maneuver! Tyler Bate with some springs in his boots. An incredible maneuver by the Cruiserweight champion. And you see Wes Lee was able to reverse the pressure on that Irish whip, but Tyler Bate is not hesitating. He feels confident, dead center of the ring, allowing the Cardiac Kid to come to him. Sends Lee to the ropes again, and Tyler Bate heavily relying on his strength. We have seen several suplexes and throws like that thus far. Tyler Bate revving up the engines just in that split moment to hit that Fosbury flop over the top rope. Thought that was going to give him the sustained momentum he wanted, but there's Wes Lee not allowing a rally by the Cruiserweight champion. Lee clearly motivated as all hell to get the job done as Bate perched on the top. Incredible Frankensteiner. You want to talk about having springs in your boots? Look no further. And another kick out that time. And you gotta imagine there was great respect between these two individuals, but after the last 8 weeks of competition inside of that ring and the stakes as high as they are, these two men are not gonna hold any punches against the other. Cruiserweight Classic Tournament hangs in the balance. The inaugural won by TJ Perkins all the way back in 2016. Ilya Dragunov winning the return of the tournament last year. What a year it's been ever since. Wes Lee and Tyler Bate looking to join that elite list and mark their name in the history books. Tyler Bate off the shooting star. And another close call. Tyler Bate, the ever-defending champion, finding himself in a struggle against today's opponent. Wes Lee sent into the corner once more as Tyler Bate just looks to find a way to get some sustained momentum in this contest. Stacking the offense, maybe his best maneuver, relying on the strength. And here it is again, letting all the blood rush to his head. A delayed superplex. Tyler Bates fired up. Midtown Manhattan's fired up. Wes Lee's looking up at the lights of the ballroom. Bate off the top, elevated knee. And the champion may have this match won. Not just yet. And nearly desperation on the face of Tyler that time. The delayed superplex. Then the leap from the top, but the Cardiac Kid's still alive. Bate could be looking for an around and around tilt to whirl, but there's Lee off the reversal. The challenger doing his homework and gets Bate off his feet once more. Tyler up against the ropes and not for long as Wes Lee just knocks him down. Wes Lee able to survive some incredible offense by the champion, but does he have enough left in the tank to get back on the right side of this contest? And what an incredible tournament it has been, and it culminates right here, right now in this matchup. Oh no, outside of the ring, destroyer by Wesley! At ringside, knocking Tyler Bates lights out. The champion may be seeing stars. Back inside the ring where Wesley hopes to get a victory. Well, he's obviously not done just yet. Tyler Bate trying to use the ropes to get to his feet. Wesley looking to close the gap. Down goes Tyler with a cardiac kick. Just collapsed in the ring, but he's still alive. A cardiac kick out of the corner. But it is not enough to keep down the champion just yet. What a battle we have on hand here in Hammerstein Ballroom. A building that has housed so many legendary wars witnesses another, a war of attrition that is, between Wesley and Tyler Bate for the CWC crown and the Cruiserweight Championship. Gotta imagine what's going through Wesley's mind. He had to think he had this one put away. Hopefully he came in with a secondary blueprint. As Tyler Bate once again rallies, sending Lee for a ride down to the floor. Exhaustion's got to be setting in for these two individuals. There's Tyler once again set over the top rope. Wait a minute, Wesley gonna rely on what has worked. Once again drops Tyler with a DDT on the apron and follows it up with a corkscrew. Making a dose. Wesley doing anything he can to keep down Tyler Bate. Sends him into the diamond-plated steps. Bit of a sense of urgency out of Wesley. He saw Tyler Bate in a familiar situation on that apron and he capitalized. And it was very risky to go back to the well with that maneuver, knowing Tyler has felt it before and may have had it scouted. But Lee confident in his offense and luckily it worked out for him. Back inside the ring, Wesley obviously needs to get the job done between the ropes if he wants to win the title here. Springboard stunner. Relied on that maneuver very heavily at his bout against Javon Evans several weeks back. Wesley not going for a cover just yet. Just looking to continue to add salt to the wounds. Tyler Bate looking up at the lights of Hammerstein Ballroom. This cannot be a comfortable position for the champion as Wesley on top, riding a wave at the current moment. Cardiac Kid heading to the top rope, but Tyler Bate getting to his feet, and there's Wesley. You gotta respect that decision. Not looking to throw all this momentum away for the possibility of Tyler surviving. Here's a reversal that time. Maybe second guessing wasn't the best idea. Nice head scissors takedown. Does the champion have one more rally here in the middle of Midtown Manhattan? Couple of takedowns to his challenger. Sends Wesley into the corner. Here's Tyler Bate. Massive splash. Collapsing his opponent. Tyler Bate, with one last-ditch effort, tries to find an answer to keep down this Cardiac Kid. My goodness, what a suplex. Lee doing all he can to just not stay on the canvas, just trying to get to his feet. But Tyler is just meeting him at every crossing point. Brought to his feet by will of Tyler Bate that time. And an uppercut to the back of the neck. Nothing pretty about it, just effective by the champion. Oh man, Wesley might regret rolling to that corner because Tyler Bates' wheels are a-spinning. And so is Wes's body off the German. Into the cover. No, only a 1 count that time. Midtown Manhattan on their feet. Tyler Bate in disbelief. But now, Tyler Driver 97. Dead center of the ring. This one's not over yet. Wesley's heart is still pumping. You have gotta be kidding. off the German, off the Tyler driver. Wesley is still got some breath in his lungs. And now off the springboard stunner. Maybe Wesley has got one more gear he can shift into. Maybe he's tapping into reserves. Maybe he's got something left. There's Tyler Bate. Oh, wait a minute. Sense of urgency. Schoolboy trying to steal the victory right out from underneath Lee's nose, not allowing it. Tyler unloading, literally emptying the tank. Tried to catch Wesley there. Lee read that playbook before. Tyler dropped into the corner. Tyler Bate with a reversal. Wesley with a reversal. Full head of steam. Tyler set out of the corner. Second cardiac kick. Is Tyler knocked out for good? He is! Wesley conquers it all!
Here is your winner, and the new WWE Cruiserweight Champion, Wesley!
What an incredible, resilient performance by the new Cruiserweight Champion of the world, the Cardiac Kid, Wesley, who etches his name in the history books as the 2024 Cruiserweight Classic Tournament winner. An incredible tournament over the last 8 weeks. We thank you for joining us here in Hammerstein Ballroom, and we'll see you later tonight in Orlando at Survivor Series.